Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield. Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the... This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, welcome to 757 Sports Talk. Going on a bit early this particular Saturday morning. A happy new year to one and all. It's 2026. Matt Hatfield here with you. My partner in crime, the coach Ed Young, will join me in the 10 o'clock hour once his Smithfield hoops practice has come to a conclusion. But we'll start things off in this early episode with a conversation we had earlier this week during On the Hash with Hatfield. That was with Maury head football coach Dyrri McCain. For those that missed it, we went on for more than an hour earlier this week, and we touched on their third consecutive state championship. We've got coming up, though, after we hear from Coach McCain, we're scheduled to be joined by the man that's led Phoebus to 4 straight state titles and announced this week that he's stepping down, Jeremy Blunt. We'll also have some playback clips from the overtime win on the hardwood between the Hampton Crabbers and Woodside Wolverines with Abraham Taft and Josh Rice at the Crabbers, plus Coach Eric Brown, and we'll close things off with NFL picks. So stay tuned. We've got more coming your way. It is 757 Sports Talk right after this on Cova Sports TV.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We've got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in a phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. Make sure and subscribe.
To start things off, the swift kick, fielded straight up the gut. Running room and more. To the 40, to the 30, down to the 20, 10-5, touchdown Commodores. Woo. Matthew Williams. Up. If you're Maury.
Pretty nice start to a state.
And welcome you to another edition of On the Hash with Hatfield and 757 Sports Talk. Glad you're with us here, and a happy holidays to one and all as we turn the calendar from 2025 to 2026. Matt Hatfield here with you with a special guest. He is the head football coach of the reigning, not 1, not 2, but 3-time state champion Maury Commodores. It's actually his 4th ring total with a record. I think it's something like 116. He's won over 87% of his games. 8 straight regional titles. We say hello, happy holidays, happy new year, and congrats to Coach Dyrri McCain. Coach, this never gets old, does it? Celebrating a state championship, especially this year where you had a lot of obstacles and a lot of doubters, a lot of naysayers. Looked like it might not happen for you, and you got it done.
Yeah, man, it feels good. I mean, before I even get to that point, man, I want to ask you, how was your Christmas, man, and your start to that happy holiday part? How was yours?
Not the greatest, but that's okay. We power through, we march on, but nonetheless, we get ready for 2026 because the years they go by quicker. Yeah. And we'll get to you now being a fatherhood too. We'll have that come up on the screen as well with a picture of your little one. But it came early for you guys this year at Maury because, and I'll be perfectly honest, we'll get to it. I thought you guys were going to be in a bit of trouble when you ran into a state semifinal opponent on the road without your leading tackler. But before we even delve into that, you're coming off back-to-back, and you graduate literally. I mean, people don't understand the amount of talent that you graduated from the season before. I think it was 9 all-state guys, 6 guys that went to Division I college football, 5 that went to Power 5 programs. It'd be very easy to say, well, you know what, this might not be our time to do it, but the standard is the standard at Maury now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's credit to a bunch of the guys. And again, just we had 7 guys leave from that team before that went and played Division I football, not 6. So losing that many guys, man, and being able to do what we do, man, it's just a testament to the culture of the kids, the guys, the coaches, what the program is and what it's always been about. Nobody's bigger than the program, myself included. There's no coach, there's no player that's bigger than what the ultimate goal is. And, we are all in it together, man. Just as, I know my face is on everything, and, everything that has to do with the program, I get that my face is on it, but stuff like that doesn't happen if those guys that, you got the Tayshaun Branch or Damo Everett, when you got those guys and Isaiah Simmons, and all those guys do a great job, but guys who, help us on scout team, and the guys who do all the extra dirty work of get stuff off the bus and get stuff placed and put stuff on the bus after games. Just everybody that's included in what we're doing is just equally as important. And I truly believe that. I don't, it's not a saying. Everybody that's a part of what we're doing is important. So that's pretty much why, it continues to be what it is. And just the next guy pretty much steps from what he puts work in for.
Let me go back to sort of your arrival at Maury, because you came to Maury where you played. We know about Maury's history, guys that have gone to the NFL like Cam Chancellor and Vincent Painter. You played for Delton Cotton. But for you as a student of the game, and you were the OC there dialing up the shots when you had DJ Mack and EJ Faison and all those guys, Kevin Marks at Norview, and put up some major numbers there before you even arrived as a head coach at Maury. But take me through the student of the game part of this for you, because I've been asked, even got asked during the state championship broadcast we had on the NFHS network, and you saw that opening kickoff from Matt Williams to start things off against Highland Springs in that title game in early December. I guess it's early to mid-December. But where do you really study most of your concepts and the way you dial things up offensively, design things up? Some people get the sense it's a lot of Big 12 type of offensive formations and creativity, if you will. Take us through your mindset and how you put things into place regardless of the personnel you have.
Well, first of all, I want to shout out Matt Williams. I talked to him earlier today. Great kickoff return. I know you brought him up, so I just want to make sure I shout him out. But when it comes to that, it's just like it's always been a student of the game. I always knew that I wanted to coach when I was playing the game, and even to the point, man, when I started to get involved in coaching, I started to love coaching more than I started to love playing. When I was able to kind of do both still, just paying attention to any and everybody, man. I love the game. I pay attention to the game. NFL. College, it can be great teams, it can be not so great teams. I think there's always a way to learn. There's a bunch of clinics and coaches that I sit down with over our off time and off season, just trying to figure out what can fit, what can't fit, what we can do, what we can't do, and just making it gel to the guys that we have, and not trying to make football hard. I mean, I guess it may look complicated to people outside looking in, but I want to make it as easy as possible for the guys that are here and for the guys that are on this new team. I say it all the time. Like, I never tried to make Torrey's team Keandre Lamberts and those guys' offense. I never tried to make Damo's offense into what Torrey's offense was, and whoever else would have stepped in at quarterback, if Matt would have had to step in at quarterback or whatever. It's not about trying to make those guys, the other guys, trying to make LeBron into Keandre Lambert-Smith. It was never going to be that. So it just comes from clinics, just a long time of paying attention. I've always been a guy since I was even playing here in high school, of just always taking notes, keeping stuff throughout the years, always – as much as I was a game plan studier when I was in high school and college for our own scheme and what we were trying to do, and just being a student of the game then, it was always in the back of my mind of being a coach in the long run. So just kind of taking my notes then when I was 16, 17, and even when I went to college when I was 19, 20, 21, just still kind of taking those notes from people that either came in to call offense, that were head coaches, and all of those different trees and different people that I learned stuff from, just pretty much just kind of stuck with me and just make it into my own. I didn't create or invent any will or new things. I just, what I did I did a good job of paying attention. I'm gonna just say that. I did a good job of paying attention. Whether it was good or bad, I think you can learn from both situations. So it was just taking it, paying attention, man, and just making it my own and just putting people around me that are able to pretty much help me do what I do, man. And it's a bunch of people that help me be what it looks to be. And I get that I'm going to get the end name or praise of everything, but it's some people around me that help me do what I do.
No, I can appreciate that. You're being honest with it. And let me quick follow up before you then dive into your journey here, the team, the players, and this whole Maury 2025 campaign. So for you, where do you think you evolved most from year one as a coach to just finishing up your 9th season? My gosh, you've been doing this 9 years now. I'm really getting old now, as are you. But and 8 region titles, the 4 state championships. Where do you think that acceleration or evolution came the most for you? Was there a part that you kind of look back at and say, this helped me move forward quicker?
So I would say just that's a great question, Matt. I would say that I became and from the start from then to now, really just staying consistent. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is, don't let the success, change what has always worked and what has been. And I think that's the biggest thing that I would say that I kind of live by. And to kind of answer your question, I think it kind of ties into what you're asking. The success of, first of all, I'm a guy that cares less about any type of self awards, attention. That stuff, it doesn't really do anything for me. I'm not really looking for how does this benefit me guy. That's not my personality. Staying grounded to what it's been and what it took to build what is built and not changing. Obviously there's a difference between like evolving and trying to make sure that, when I say that no team is the same as last year or this team is going to be different, you want to try and evolve with some stuff and tweak some stuff that fits this team more than that team or that stuff less than this team. But as far as like what the standard is and what it's been, winning one championship wasn't going to change the mindset, the goal, and what the vision is. And winning 2 championships wasn't going to do that, 3 and 4. And even now, there's been no, relax from now 3-peating and winning 4. There's a goal at hand. And when we get back and have a conversation with the guys, we got a new goal and what we're trying to chase and get. But it's not getting comfortable in the situation or with the success. That's never been me. And I'm glad the coaches that I do have on the staff right now, because they pretty much have the same mindset of just not letting the success, get to you. And everybody that's on the staff right now, I feel great about. I feel like we're moving on a mission. And, those are probably the biggest things to answer your question. I know it's maybe not exactly what the answer that you're probably looking for, but that's kind of what I felt like has kind of kept it what it's been and what it's going to continue to be.
No, I know you didn't reinvent the wheel, but the wheels are always turning, I think, in your mind to keep preparing for what might happen or what could happen next year. I think that's a big deal. Before we take a quick 1-2 minute timeout and come back with more on your season, I want you to hit on the offseason, how important it is for you all at Maury, because you do 7-on-7 passing league over at Powhatan. You go to Old Dominion and you're grooming in a new quarterback who you knew had ability, but you brought back some veteran wide receivers. Certainly LeBron Bond goes to Indiana, but Javon Wiggins, who's on our screen there, who's headed to William and Mary, Damon McDaniel Jr., who was a big key cog for you going to NC Central as well. And then also Elijah Moss Williams, who's going to James Madison University to play his college football, we think. So that's what last I've heard. You can update if there's something new on that front there. For your new sophomore triggerman, Indamo Everett, who put up some amazing numbers and got state player of the year. Some wondered about the quarterback position. Oh, my goodness, Autori Newkirk leads. And I know you took – I don't want to say this and offend you or say the wrong words, but it felt like in watching some of your interviews with some of the TV stations, people, a little bit of umbrage, like, hey, we've done this thing before. Just because Newkirk's now at UNC doesn't mean the whole thing goes in the crapper, but more than that, you knew what you had in Everett. You knew what you had in the wide receiver positions. Tell me, at what point did you feel not so much fine, but all right, we're ready to be or making progress? Was it not even until game one? Was there a point in the offseason where you said, all right, they're starting to get what we want?
Yeah, there was a couple times in the offseason where you saw what the guys can be and what they can do. First of all, to just touch on Damo Everett, I think he was the biggest question mark for other people. It was pretty much the same thing before Torrey Newkirk, became who he became. I think it was somebody that nobody knew about and didn't know who was next. And he goes 2 years straight and does what he does. And that's all credit to that kid for what he did. But we knew we had Damo in the back pocket. We were glad that he wanted to be here. I'm glad that I have him. But that was probably the biggest question mark in our all season to other people. It definitely wasn't a question mark to nobody on our staff, and especially myself. I probably got that. That was probably the biggest question that I had probably the most in the off season was about Damo. And there was never any doubt that I knew what Damo could be and what he can bring us and who he could be. There was never any doubt, and there's still no doubt. I know what he's going to continue to do, and I know what he will continue to do. But as far as doing what he did, no surprise at all. I think that, I honestly feel like he wasn't talked about enough or, didn't get, the praise or whatever that he deserved. But it's okay. Like, he's a kid that's going to put his head down, keep working. That's what type of program we are, and we're cool with that. So, he showed shades early. And just like with anything, he was probably the most inexperienced when you're talking about, a Tayshaun Branch, and you're talking about the Javon Wiggins and Dane McDaniel and Eli, all those guys you're talking about. He was the most inexperienced. But, he showed his good and his bad, but that's developing, that's coaching. And we don't shy away from development and getting guys better, and he took that on. And for the rest of those guys, I just think there were times in the offseason that was good and bad, which you need for a championship team. But just like I said all the time, just like I said in all the interviews and us going 14-1, I think for this team, that loss was needed. It was needed to open up the eyes. Like I say, you got to think that those guys have just been used to winning. Some of those guys have played a year, 2 years of football, high school football, and never lost a game. Some guys had been here, and all they lost was the state championship their freshman year to Holland Springs.
Mm-hmm. And you're alluding to that Cardinal Gibbons season opening loss, which was a close, winnable game, 24-20, if I remember right, because I was watching it on NFHS, at least trying to watch it among the 4 or 5 games. As you know, I watch simultaneously on multiple devices here. I think you had like a key fumble. It might have been late third, early fourth quarter. I remember texting somebody watching, like, that might bite you. But it was something that you think, looking back on now, was needed to kind of refocus the group.
Yeah, I think it was big. I think any loss that we've taken, if anybody goes to look and see any losses that we've taken over the years in this stretch, it's always been a learned lesson. It's never been excuses. We're not trying, this guy was injured and maybe if they would have had these guys in this game. No, we played the game and we lost. It's really that simple. But in that, we also learned a lesson on what we need to do to be better in those moments that those things happen. And we learned that lesson. And, we saw losing like a kid like Isaiah Simmons and still being able to get it done. So those are lessons that we learned, and we learned in front of Cardinal Gibbons. Like I said, you talk about that fumble that happened. You're talking about a guy who that happened to in that game, and then the playoff stretch that he just went on. Just remembering what happened in that game that we lost and carrying that with him in those last 3 games of the season, and how he played, it pretty much showed that still carried on from that moment. And I just think that game right there was a good point for us, man. And even I think those first 3 games were kind of the moments to kind of get to the meat of your question of what you asked. Mm-hmm. Those first 3 games is pretty much kind of what got us there, man. Losing that game was Cardinal Gibbons, which I felt like this team needed. I don't know how I would have went if we were 13-0 going into that Stonebridge game on the road. I don't know how it would have went for us. So it was needed. We go on the road to Verona, who, probably the best team that we played in this year, pound for pound.
They put it on in the Class 4 championship, didn't they? My goodness.
To play them on the road, and just like any good team, man, they made their mistakes in that game. We also made ours. We made ours in the Cardinal Gibbons game. It's two teams battling it out. Both teams are going to make mistakes. Somebody's got to come out on top. We won a big one on the road, and in that moment, Damo could have tucked his tail in that moment in time from not playing so well in the first half. But again, another situation where I never stopped believing that kid. I don't care what was going to happen in that game. It was never going to stop believing. He turns around and throws a game-winning touchdown to Javon Wiggins, who we talked about in a critical moment of us needing that play. And there will be a lot of guys who would end up folding that moment from how they played early on. So that right there kind of really just stamped my situation with Damo and saying, yes, we have a guy. We have a guy that can go through hard times and still bounce back when the moment is the moment. So that's what really put it over top for Damo, for me. And for everybody else, it was rallying around him in that time. And then going to Bishop McNamara and guys, battling out in that game. I think that was a 3 overtime game, and just, not losing ourselves and just still trying to find a way to battle and fight. Like, those 3 games pretty much told me, okay, like, we really got the team to do it. Let's lock in. And to my last point to your question is, I think that's the moment when, after that Bishop McNamara game, is when I sat down with the players and the coaches across the board. And I just, told everybody across the board, like, listen, if comfortability is in you and you're going to bring it into this program, it's going to get uncomfortable for you over these next few weeks. I just got to be honest with you guys. And that was coaches and players. And for some guys that understood the message, they turned around the comfortability and got it right. And there was a lot of guys, players and coaches, that wanted to live the comfortability route. And I'm just not built for that in this program. I mean, there's plenty of other programs that are okay with comfortability and just kind of getting by. This just isn't that program. So I just think that we kind of turned it up as a team overall, staff and players, after those 3 games.
Yeah, and that Charlie McCoy game-winning field goal in triple overtime was huge. Before we do take a time out, like I promised, and I'll get to a couple of the questions. I see there's 1 or 2 already on IG and X and Facebook, and we'll let Coach McCain answer some of your interactive questions with us here on the Hash with Hatfield and 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. One thing you did say in there, and that 3-game stretch is brutal. I mean, you've now got a 41-game winning streak against Virginia opponents, but you play McNamara and Verina, and you play Cardinal Gibbons, and you play the last couple years Wise and Highland Springs and Dinwiddie. So you've won, like I said, over 87% of your games. You only lost 15, 16 games. What loss in your tenure at Maury did you learn the most from?
It would have to be 2 of them.
Okay.
That just stick out. I wish I could say 1, but definitely 2.
Okay, tell me.
The Stonebridge game, the state championship game. Super learned lesson in that situation. That still haunts. That still carries, and that part of the program. I wouldn't even say me. That part of the program still carries itself. Even the kids who weren't involved in that, there's coaches and there's, the state of the program that still kind of carried. So I would say that, and really that 18 year when we went up to Highland Springs, we played that game. At that time, we were a team that was kind of like our coming out party, but we still weren't there yet. We were a good team, and I think that there's plenty of teams and situations that end up being good teams, but we weren't ready yet in that moment in time, and we didn't make excuses. And again, that loss, sat out there, took the loss, saw the other team celebrate, wanted to see all that, wanted to go through all of that, and I think that loss taught us the most, and we ended up coming back the next year, and that group with Lambert Smith and those guys just came at that following year and took care of business across the board. So I think those are probably the biggest 2 lessons overall in the program that I feel like that we've probably learned a lot as players and as a whole as a staff, and I think everybody would agree with that.
We've got more coming your way here with Dyrri McCain, head football coach, the reigning 3-time state champion Maury Commodores, as they get ready for a quest for a four-peat. Yeah, it just ended, but they're getting ready for a quest for a four-peat when we turn the calendar from December to January 2026. We'll get his take on the playoffs, Region 5B. He did have a couple of guys from his coaching staff depart and what's ahead for the team, but also remember some of these key seniors that made it possible for them. You're watching On the Hash with Hatfield. Now this from our sponsors such as Town Bank, Chicho's Pizza. Back in just a bit.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
One to the near side. Branch moves to the right, and he'll take the handoff again. Oh, this time Everett will keep it. He's got some running room. He splits the defense in two. Inside the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown Maury.
That looked easy. Damo Everett has wheels, folks. Not just a quarterback that can sling it. Here's the fake. They bite down on Branch, and why wouldn't they? Because he's a locomotive. And here's Everett showing, I can take it to the house as well. Doing so in those neon green shoes. And already Maury's up double figures. Not even 3 minutes expired in this Class 5 state finals at JMU.
Back here with the head football coach of the Class 5 state champion Maury Commodores, Dyrri McCain, our guest here on the Hash with Hatfield. Like, share, and subscribe. Interact with us on Cova Sports TV or wherever platform you're watching, Virginia Preps, Facebook, IG, the X. We've got some comments. I unfortunately can't put all the IG comments up. I can put the YouTube and Facebook comments up, but look at _B Davis 14 wants to know, Coach, what them wide receivers going to look like for next season with a bunch of eye emojis. What them wide receivers look like for next season. You do have a couple back. You do graduate some, correct?
Yeah. We got a couple back. I feel good about the group that we have coming back. And it's good when you got your quarterback back for another two. And that shout out to that guy, man. That boy looked real fast on that film. Damo, man, that was an impressive play right there by him. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on that clip. Shout out to my guy.
Let's real quick because we did this. You probably don't watch. I know someone in your family watches who, by the way, has got a comment for you in a second. But Coach Young and I on our 757 Sports Talk program, he referenced it from the Stonebridge game. What you do with your quarterback and some of the fakes, he saw it coming that was there for you in the championship round, and sure enough, it was. And why not? Tayshawn Branch runs this year. You talk about Damo, how fantastic he was. And my goodness, he was 58 total touchdowns this year. Branch accumulates over 2,000 all-purpose yards and really tore it up in the state semis against Stonebridge, which we'll get to. And we'll show a clip from that as well. So there's so many things defenses, even the best of them out there, like Stonebridge's and Highland Springs', have to prepare for with your offense.
Yeah. But again, that goes back to credit to the guys. I mean, and I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record with that. I mean, Damo has to want to be better. Damo has to want to pay attention. Damo has to be locked into what the situation is, as does Javon Wiggins, as does Eli, as does Tayshawn Branch and Damon McDaniel and Matt Williams and Carter O and Jaden Avery. Like, all of those guys have to be locked into what we are. Javonte Hughes. all of those guys have to be in tune to what we're doing. It's not a system where it's just telling a guy, hey, go out there and run a go route. So those guys, I got to give credit to those guys. And really from the beginning of time with, that Lambert Smith group, and even my time at Norview, man, honestly, with DJ Mack and Anton Ashby and Kayvon Lawson and those guys, I've been fortunate to just be able to deal with the unselfish group of guys who, you look at a Tayshaun Branch who can go anywhere and get 40 carries a game or this or that. I've just been fortunate enough for guys to, buy into the team ball, and it's just been benefiting everybody. There's been a bunch of guys who have left our offense and have been able to play next level football at a high level. So for those guys to want to be able to do that is something that I'm fortunate to have. So, I mean, I get it, but those guys still got to want to do it and still want to be a part of being a team.
We got a question on the YouTube out there from Melinda McCain. Coach McCain, does your mom push you as hard now as a coach like she did when you were a player? Well, that's a good one. I like that one.
No, my mom's probably actually gotten softer now that I'm a coach. She was definitely harder on me as a player. She was that mom that you were going to hear from the stands. When I was a player, it was just kind of one of those things where, like, you were going to hear her in the crowd when I was young as a player, and that's just who she was. And she was going to let everybody know that was her baby. Number 5 was her baby. That was going to be known in the stands as a player. Now she's got a little bit soft on me as a coach, and probably more so because she knows the time that I spend with this and for the guys and with the guys and just everything that has to do with the program and do with the program. But she's definitely my number one fan. She's been that since I was a player. I can always count on her being in the stands around. Even when she's not there, she's on NFHS every Friday. If we're playing on Saturday and she can't make it, she is in front of the screen any possible way she can. I love her. She's everything to me. She's definitely always been a support system for me from the beginning, all the way through my time as a player and a coach. So I'd be remiss if I didn't shout her out. I'm glad she chimed in here to ask a question. And I love her, and yeah, that's mom.
We appreciate that. She might not even know we were doing this at this time. She probably got the notification when we went live and said, oh, I'm going to ask a question. So I appreciate her doing that. And speaking of which, as we stay on that theme of family and mom, Mother's Day, it's holidays. So we throw it to you now. How has fatherhood made the adjustment for you as a coach? There was a neat article in the Virginia Pilot that Larry Obama did on you, as well as Tyler Noe. He's got a newborn over there at Cox High School in Virginia Beach. The time management piece is always such a challenge for everybody, whether you're a coach and you got kids or not. So take us through what that's been like for you this year, because it's different from your last couple of championships where you got a newborn.
Yeah, man, it's been cool. The experiences of just fatherhood alone outside of football, it's been a little bit of, I'm a guy that takes advice. And like I said, like I've always been a guy that was writing notes and doing those things as a player and a student of the game, like when it comes to football. And it's been the same thing as like with life and just parenting and everything else. It's really taken my own life lessons, other people's life lessons, and what they kind of tell me. I'm never, if people are like, oh, I don't want to listen. I don't want to hear this old guy talk to me. I'm more the guy that like, well, this guy is experienced in life, is experiencing what he's doing. So what can I gain from him, or what can I learn from him that I'm going to be able to either know how to handle that situation when it comes about or how to handle it. And that's pretty much what it's been with fatherhood, man. I mean, I got some good support guys. My guy, my guy Bryce that coaches with me, very close person to me, told me a lot about what it was going to be as a father. And some of the stuff you actually don't know until you actually are in it. You can be told about this and that, but you actually got to be in it to kind of realize what it is. And it's been cool, man. I mean, it's a good feeling when, before then, you can have a bad practice, man, or things just don't go well that day. It can, maybe the day just wasn't what it was and whatever. But like, he has no clue about anything that happened. He doesn't know that I was just getting on Damo at practice, or I just got finished getting on Tayshaun Branch for what he wasn't doing at practice, or what Eli didn't do, or what Matt Williams didn't do, or whatever. He has no clue about any of that stuff. When I walk through the door, he just sees Dad, and just like that smile, like he has this like open mouth like smile that I can just still see right now, even though if I'm not in front of him, that just like it clears everything that's kind of going on, and whatever kind of happened is just the focus becomes on him, and a lot of the times I don't get to see him before he's kind of put to bed because of practice and everything. So I got to shout out his mom. Alyssa, she does a great job of holding that part down for us to his parents. With him, she really allows me to be me here and pretty much continue what we're doing with the program. And it wouldn't be done without what she does as a mom and as a parent, and how we do this as parents. She's very vital to my success, and continuing to do what we're doing with the program. She's definitely vital to that, and she's behind the scenes, and won't get when people see the coach of the year, when people see that stuff, she's not going to get any of that credit when she's one of the most that's most deserving, because she's holding stuff down for me to be able to give what I need to give to the program and give what I need to give to the boys and to the guys and to the coaches in the program. So it's been cool. Like, again, another situation where it wouldn't be what it is if my support system didn't hold me down to be able to do what I need to do for the program, what people need from me from the program, what my admin needs from me, what my AD needs from me, what my coaches need from me, what these kids need from me, like those people that are in my support system, for me to be able to do that, play a vital role into the success. Miss Parker, Coach Parker, Cornell Parker, Jennifer Parker, like all of those people play like roles outside of football and this parenting part that got added to this year. But it's been fun. It's had its hurdles and everything like that. Anything with success is going to have hurdles, but it's been fun, and I appreciate my support system.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a great one with the Parkers, and no doubt about it. Your principal, Karen Berg, your initial AD and Ed Boyd, and now your current AD and Tommy Staples. Let me ask you, Coach, there was 2 games before you got to the state playoffs that stick out to me. One I was at live, and I wasn't sure I was going to go to it. I ended up seeing 2 eventual state champions square off in Norfolk, you and Lake Taylor, and it was a 14-all game into the third quarter, 77-yard touchdown run from Keon Johnson. We just spoke with Hank Sawyer last week about his state championship, which was a wild one for him. He's got 4 rings now, just like you got 4 rings. Although he had to match his 4th to match Sandra Sawyer, the girls' basketball coach. You don't have to do that right now, match someone with 4 in his own family. But the other game that stuck out was the injury game. And I actually we broadcasted on Cova Sports TV. Coach Darnell Moore and I did the Green Run Indian River game. And then I couldn't make it in time to Suffolk with the traffic and getting out of there late. So I went to Oscar Smith Thomas Dale, which was a blowout. Smith won that one comfortably on its way to a state championship. 3 teams from the 7-5-7, Oscar Smith, Maury, Lake Taylor represent Hampton Roads. But I got home and I actually saw the clip on NFHS, and my heart sunk because it was a tight game at halftime. You pull away the second half, but the third quarter injury to Isaiah Ike Simmons, the leader, the heartbeat of your team. He's been one of the most incredible kids I've got a chance to cover, just his leadership qualities. And I think it probably goes without really representation or recognition. He's got 286 tackles in his career, and some may say big deal. That's 72 per year, but he's played with Carlton Smith and Fred Johnson, guys at Maryland, Indiana. And you've had some blowout games where he doesn't have to play all 4 quarters. But as that moment happens and you go on the field to check on him, what's going through your mind? Because you go, oh no, we've had this happen before though, with Peyton Jones and Nathaniel Booganox and Kendall Daniels and Ari Watford. But this one's a little bit different though, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get to the point that you made first, and I'm gonna get to Ike because that's an important guy to me. Shout out to Lake Taylor for bringing the title home. A lot of talk gets talked about our district and what we are, what we aren't. So shout out to those guys, and we were able to bring 2 back in our district. And so I'm glad that they were able to pull that out. So congrats to those guys for getting it done. to Ike in that situation. You know, at first, you know, just thoughts of a kid who is one of the most important and one of my most favorite people that I've probably ever come across to coach. There's so many high praises I could talk about Ike. You know, and everybody sees him as the player. Like, you know, we were in those region meetings and state meetings. They just talk about who he was as the player. And I just see a guy who's came a long way from, you know, freshman year of like you said, being a freshman starter for us, and having to step in for 4 guys that we had that were dudes. It was a lot of thoughts that just happened that played out in that situation, that moment. He's the heart and soul of our team. He embodies everything that you want, as far as a leader, as far as a player on your team. I mean, not only is he, you know, people would argue whether or not he's the best player on our team, right? Then you're talking about a guy who outworks everybody. Then you're talking about a guy who just has a mentality to get things done. He's a great student. I want to say he's like a 3.7 kid or something like that. Student of the game. He wants to know why. He wants to know every bit of details on both sides of the ball on what's going on. He's a great person to women. He is a great person to his family. Loves his family, his sisters, his mom, his dad. Just this kid is, and I haven't even talked about how fast he can run, how much he lifts, like the tackles that you brought up, like all of that stuff it's all plus. The person that this guy is and who he was to this team is everything. And it's crazy because I got my own speak of how I feel about him and how that situation played out. And I think I actually teared up a little bit when he ended up getting carried off, only because like I know what this kid put into this team in this situation, like not only for himself, but who he had to be for his team this specific season to carry this team. I know what he put in. So, you know, it was a situation where I felt bad for him, but I had to quickly remind myself that, you know, the man upstairs makes no mistakes with situations and timing. So I have to trust that it's for the better. That's not my judgment to make or put him through. But it's hard to see sometimes. I'll be honest to say that it's not hard to see sometimes. So that was that. But even if you look at the guys, the kids, we're talking about being like the heart of our team, man, right after that, we got a huddle that I think all the guys, I want to say Dan McDaniel led the whole team in a prayer as Ike is down. Like, come on, man. Like, that Dan McDaniel was able to pull that whole entire team together, which speaks volume to him, you know, and what he brings to the team. But is able to get all of those guys to get together and pray up with each other. Then I think we huddled right after that as a team to just kind of get back on track, to refocus on the game. It even took me a while to kind of get straight. But then you see after guys making plays, man, you see Javonte Hughes, he gets a run, he's putting up the 0. Matt Williams gets a pick, he's putting up the 0. Tayshaun Branch does something, he's putting up the 0. Javon Wiggins putting up the 0. And that kind of became our thing after that. And then we got to Stonebridge game, and it was same thing. Guys are making plays, putting up the 0. Guys in the state championship game making plays, putting up the 0. That's how much he meant to that team. But Ike's going to forever be spoken about, a guy in our program. Like, he's going to be a guy that's still spoken about 5, 6, 7 years from now. And hopefully, you know, when this time is past, hopefully he's still talked about. But forever in this program, Ike will forever be remembered in this program. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's going to Pittsburgh. What a gem for Coach Narduzzi and the Panthers. He goes out with 3 rings, 4 region championships. He's a 4-time All-State guy, 2-time first-team All-State, 2-time second-team All-State. And I think it goes, like you said, beyond the numbers that you can measure what he meant for your team. You just see the respect from his teammates. And I did see that prayer I think Damon Sr. shared it from Junior that night, and that was pretty, goosebumps, I guess, come on your skin there when you get that. So now you get ready for Stonebridge, and I was public about it. I was like, look, I don't know if they can win this game without that guy on defense. I knew what your offense could do, but the thing was nobody had done it on that defense. And then as equally a concern is if you tell Stonebridge they're going to score almost 30 points on you, they're going to think they're going to win the game because they've not given that up on anybody. Take me through that game. Certainly there was some big plays. And I'll actually, before you even take me through that game, I want to show for folks that didn't see it. I tell you what I thought the game – well, there was 2 plays that stand out in that game. This one is the run from Tayshawn Branch. Then I'll tell you where I think the game was over. Here's that T run from T Branch up in Ashburn, courtesy of the NFHS Network.
One to the near side.
Here we go. This one. Here it is. T Branch's T run. That's the other one here in the NFHS Network.
There's Branch. He's got it. Straight ahead. Still not down. And he somehow spins out. 25, 20 on his feet all the way to the 10. He's still going, and he's down at the 1 yard line. What a run by Tayshawn Branch.
That looked like Jeff Overton.
Oh, my goodness.
When he was in Freedom.
Tremendous run there by Branch. Watch it again here. Every time Maury sees Stonebridge with 3 down linemen, coach, they're coming up and they're running the ball. I mean, they bring him back in. Look at the missed tackles.
3, 4, 5.
They just couldn't get him out. Couldn't get him down.
And Golston ends up hustling down and making the tackle. Kedrick on the 1 yard line.
Now, you know this. I know this. I'm not sure all the audience does. That Stonebridge defense is littered with Division I dudes all over the place. Different dynamic than you've played them before in the championship round where you've beaten them 2 out of 3 times. But Tayshawn Branch was a man possessed that day, wasn't he, Coach?
Yeah, I just think that's who we expect him to be. That he's coached hard. We expect a lot from him. I think that his sophomore year, we there was this person goes here, this person goes there. We always knew we had Tayshawn in the back pocket, and he took advantage of the opportunities when he was younger. As a sophomore, I mean, he really took advantage of his opportunities, and then, ended up taking over the job for us in the playoff run his sophomore year, just because he had earned that from what he showed and put out, that he earned that, and everything that he's gotten, he's earned and worked for, and it's no surprise what he did. I think that he carried a lot of stuff that was kind of going out through the season, in the regular season. He carried that into the postseason, and he just knows the expectations of him. He knows what's expected of him. It's great to also have him in a sense because I play with his actual father, his uncle. I play with his uncle also, D'Angelo Branch. I do think Tayshawn's the better back. If Bubbles was to ever get a hold of hearing this, I think Tayshawn's better than Bubbles. But
I don't disagree with you. Listen, Bubbles was a heck of a player, but I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. Bubbles my guy. He will forever be my guy. That is my guy. But I got to go with Tay Branch. Now, I don't know if I can say that he's the best 5. I don't know if Tay's the best 5, but that's yet to come. We'll see what he brings up next year. But he definitely ran hard. He definitely carried a weight for us in this playoff stretch, and I definitely think that he made a name for himself in this playoff stretch, and rightfully so. Everything that's going to come his way and everything that will continue to come his way, he's going to earn. He doesn't want any handouts. He wants to earn everything he's getting, and I'm proud that he has a work ethic like that.
I'm glad you said that because our guy Preston, again, we're having trouble getting some of the comments on the screens, but we'll try. If you do have a comment, we encourage you to send it to us through YouTube, Facebook, IG, X. We'll get them up there if we can, although we're having trouble with the IG and the X comments. The Facebook and YouTube appearing on the screen fine. But on X, Preston wants to know, what's his recruitment looking like, Coach? You see him being a Power 5 guy just like a Peyton Jones, and I think offers going to trickle in by the day or in the weeks here coming up, right?
Yeah. He's going to be fine in this offseason stretch coming around here in the spring and everything.
What's his best asset in your eyes? What's his best asset as a back in your eyes?
Really, I would probably say his will. like his will to you have to tackle him. You're not gonna arm tackle this kid. It's not gonna be an easy day tackling him. And that's whether he's trying to run through you or trying to go around you or make a move or run away from you. He's not going to go down easy. He just got this will about him, this grit about him that's impressive. He has this mindset about him that he feels like he's the best at anything that he does. Don't know where he gets it from. Both me and him compete a lot about a bunch of different things. He feels like he could have did this and did that, versus me or whoever else. But he has this true competitive and willed nature that I think that's where me and him, not necessarily clash. I think me and him kind of like have a like that he's so competitive and he just has this will about him. And just a kid that I'm glad that I've, have had the opportunity to coach. Got one more year to do it. I'm glad he's on our side, but that's probably his best asset, man, is his will. And he's super competitive, man. He feels like he's the best at everything. You put him on a checkers board, he feels like he can win. You put him in a 3-point shootout, he feels like he can win. You put him in a race, he feels like he's faster than everybody. You need that to play at the level to play at. So those are things that I'm glad that he has. He has good qualities to play at the highest level.
Yeah, 18 carries for 247, 4 touchdowns against Stonebridge's defense, which had not given up that many touchdowns like the entire season on the ground. He did it in one game. And by the way, as you know, there's that will, that sheer desires right there, determination. I think he's a better pass catcher on the back than people realize too, which that can be shown here in the coming games, I should say, in the future for him. The other play, though, that stuck out to me, and actually when I saw this later, because I was broadcasting the Magna Vista Lake Taylor game. Rod Johnson and I were on the NFHS network. But this was the play that to me said game set match, because it's 4th down. It's 27-21 in the third quarter, and no fear in Coach McCain. He's going for it on 4th down, and here's what happened with Damo Everett, the trigger man.
Attempt.
I think they're going to go down here 1-on-1 on this to number 3 down here on Langston Bridges, and they got quads to the up top.
Here's Everett back to pass.
There it is.
Chuck it deep toward the end zone, and it's going to be caught. Touchdown by Williams. And did he push off? That's the question.
I thought it was defensive pass interference myself, but we'll see in a second.
Official.
There's a flag
saying
now.
It's going against Stonebridge. Let's watch the play.
Watch the replay. We get it. I told you they were going to go one-on-one to the backside here. They had one-on-one.
Not much really for either side.
The hands on, no. But, I mean, there was nothing offensively that was pushing off.
Yeah.
Coach R.J. Windows there of Independence saw it with Andy Hazel McCall. You knew it. Damo knew it. Matt Williams knew it. Stonebridge didn't. 4th and 15, Coach, though. Pretty gutsy, ballsy, whatever people want to call it. But I'll tell you this, you've been watching a lot of those guys in college and pros doing that, and you had the ultimate confidence and faith in your guys to get it done. They did.
Yeah, I think it's a couple things that stand out in that play and that call in that time. I think that, you look at, and I talked about it earlier with Damo Everett, you look at him in that Verona game and, he struggled in the beginning and then, found a way to get it together late in the game. And like I said, then we knew that if he can go through that, then he's going to be able to go through the tough times that we'll see later. So that's where those moments in those 3 games came to play in that single play that you just showed for him specifically. There's never a doubt, man. Like there was never a doubt that I felt like that he couldn't go on the road and win at Kings Fort. There was never a doubt that I felt like Damo couldn't go on the road and win against Stonebridge. There was never a doubt to win the state championship game that he's getting his first start in. There was never a doubt. He's shown that in those 3 games that he's capable enough to handle those moments. He showed that. So there was never any doubt to make that play call and put in his hands at that time to make a throw like that. The biggest key, and I got to be honest right here, Matt. The biggest key in that clip, if you were to ever look back at it again past this point, is the offensive line up front, because of who they have, and look at the time that Damo has to be able to scan the field and make that throw. So, shout out to Coach Paul and Coach Bryce for the time that they put in with those guys to keep Damo protected and make that throw. And it's so underrated because we get so caught up into looking at Matt's catch and we look at Tayshawn Branch's run and Damo making this throw, that specific clip showed you that those guys did a great job up front of giving this guy time to make that throw. So that right there was the biggest key, was them doing that. Damo being second in that play of making that throw. All right, and then obviously Matt Williams on the catch, man. He's a playmaker. He's played big roles for us ever since he was a freshman. Has been a guy that's came in and hasn't been trying to be stuck to one position. He's done multiple different things for us, man. He's played some quarterback. He's played receiver. He's played DB. He's played returner. He's played holder for field goal. He does a lot. And that's what Matt brings to the table. And in that moment, in that time, he's a guy that we expect to make that play. And rightfully so he did. So first, I got to say shout out to the O-line for that. That specific clip shows you that they held protection. Second, Damo. And then obviously Matt with a great catch. So, yeah, it was a great effort. Again, a team football type of play.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because last year you graduate some offensive linemen. A year ago, I think you had like Elijah Jones mid All-State. This year it's Naquan Harris, young pup for you, Jaden Hodge, those guys up front with your coaches, like you mentioned, Coach Bryce Parker and Paul Hudson for you, a new coach for you on the line, did a great job with it. And in Matt Williams' case, you remember this last year, I was irate that he got snubbed when it came to all-district, all-region voting. He didn't get snubbed this year. He got first-team All-State at defensive back for you. And that's another thing, too, Coach. Your defensive backs, I mean, you had a freshman. You told me this early in the year. I said, I tell you what, there's a couple of freshmen. You said, wait till you see mine. And he did show by year's end 8 interceptions for you. Tawan Pear, first-team All-State as a freshman. So you guys have never been afraid to throw guys to the fire, whether it's Naquan Harris, whose Pop's big money played at Lake Taylor, whether it's Kamari Watson on the D-line, or in Tawan Pear's case.
Yeah, I think that, I believe in playing guys young. I've always been that type of guy. I don't shy away from being able to coach. And when I say I mean that's presented to the staff is like we're not going to be afraid to play guys young. I think a lot of people, in the outside noise maybe feel like, don't come to Maury or whatever. I'm not into that whole conversation of stuff, but that we don't play young guys or whatever. And we got, 2 freshmen that make first team All-State. If you can play and you're willing to come and work and do what's asked of the program, you will get a chance to play. And those guys are proof of that. And you think about like the names that you mentioned, like Kamari Watson, like, he's a guy that is going to have his real coming out party real soon. We're excited about him moving forward. We have Amir Granger. I was about to say Amari. It's actually his little brother, who we're really excited about. And you mentioned Naquan Harris, a kid that is already early on. He wants to be so good. He's so critical at the smallest thing. I mean, even if it's a right step, did he step the right way, or doing this or doing that the right way? He's super competitive and wants to be good. Which his world, and then obviously Tawan Pear. Like, I mean, again, it's hard not to try to be biased, but I just don't see it. I don't see many freshmen in the state of Virginia in his class that has the resume that this kid has. I mean, he's doing stuff that, again, we're talking about replacing guys. So you're talking about, how do we replace Kendall Daniels? How do we replace some of them guys? And, he's stepping up in Kendall's spot right now and is able to do what he did. He's had more picks than you think about the DBs that's kind of come by here. And again, shout out to Coach Wayne, Coach Knight, Coach Reed. Those guys are the best group of DB guys that, I mean, again, I'm not trying to be biased. I just think that they're great at what they do. And the proof is in the pudding. But you look at the DBs that we've had, and Deshaun Peel, Kendall Daniels, Devontae Floyd, Kelvin Say, Sheridan Jones,
Yeah.
I mean, you could go down a list, and I'm sorry, guys, if I'm forgetting any of you guys, man. It's been a lot of you
guys at Duke, Clemson, Delaware. They've been to Navy, big places, and performed.
And performed actually did well at the next level. But you look at what they did, and these guys didn't do near of what Tawan did as a freshman. He's already beat a lot of those guys out in one season. So sky's the limit for him. He's super coachable, hard-working kid, wants to get better, wants to be better. And again, so when you have this level now of what you can play, it's our job as a staff to get him to play at another level. But it's all up to him to want to be better and want to get better. He can't just be satisfied with just the freshman season. But what an impressive one. Super good kid, super good family. But, he's special, man. He's going to be one to talk about for the next couple of years.
One more here before we take a break and finish up with our final segment here with Coach Dyrri McCain of the reigning 3-time state champion Maury Commodores. 100 wins and counting for him, 4 rings as they get ready for 2026. Coach, you take on the Highland Springs in the championship game. And even for a guy like me who's got utmost respect for Lauren Johnson, what the Springers have accomplished, sort of been in many ways the kings of Virginia high school football, I felt like the harder game for you would be the state semis for a couple of factors. Not so much a knock on Highland Springs, but one, it's on the road. 2, it's in the state semifinal round on the road against a great defense, and it's the first game after losing your heart and soul. Now you've had a game without them, so it allows you to get more acclimated with Javonte Hughes and Elijah King and that group that's going to lead your linebacker core. And Elijah King had a heck of a day, as we documented afterwards in the postgame presser. But this Highland Springs team, though you've beaten them in the regular season, it was something you had to check off on the resume, given that you hadn't beaten them in the championship round, and it mattered to get off to a fast start, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, you just look at the run and kind of what the program has been, and the previous year before this class had got in, before Ike Simmons and Javonte Hughes, Elijah Moss, and all them guys, Hunter Collins, before those guys came in, they were coming in from that loss to Stonebridge. They weren't here yet, but we went into that offseason, with that on our mind, and then they turn around and play Highland Springs in the state championship the following year, and end up losing that one. So I mean, it just like I said before, man, it couldn't be a better fitting situation for the program and for some of those guys to pretty much hold those guys down from before, the guys who came before. Like I said, they were coming into a situation that, they didn't experience that loss of Stonebridge, but they were able to go to Stonebridge and get it done. And, and we talk about program, Ike and those guys' mission wasn't just to win it this year for them. It was making sure that they hold down the Peyton Jones, the Kelvin Says, the Booger Knox, like all of those guys, wanting to hold those guys down from what they came into. And even, Highland Springs, we talk about the standard that they've been on and who Lauren Johnson is as a coach. I mean, his resume is stamped. I mean, there's not many people that's going to have the resume that he has. And that's just point blank period out of respect. There's not too many with the resume that he has. And to get this matchup at that time and at where we were as a program, I mean, like I said, a lot of people didn't expect us to be here. We're losing out on 7 Division I cats, 8 if you include Ike not being able to perform and play. Most teams, you're gonna kind of put that into a team going into a down year or a bad year, and whatever that bad year looked like, 4-6, or whether it's losing second round. I just don't think that off of losing that and then the first 3 games, I felt like it was talked about and looked at as we weren't going to be there and get it done again. So it was great to get this matchup with those guys to take the next step in this program. And those guys got it done, man. It was good to get off to a good start. Matt Williams started it off. And then from there, I think our defense got a stop. Damo did a good job of pulling the ball and getting into the end zone. And then from there, man, it was just the defense was playing lights out. Like you said, Elijah King played big. Again, another guy who we knew we had But now he had his opportunity to showcase what he can do. Pretty much, like I said, like a Tayshaun Branch. Like you give those guys the opportunity to show themselves, and they end up taking advantage of opportunity. So, it took a team effort, man. A lot of guys stepped up, man. Isaiah McDaniel played big at the corner spot in the game. A lot of guys just kind of.
Kobe Marshall's another guy. He got hurt.
Marshall, oh my gosh, man! Like him, he played huge, man. Javonte Hughes, another kid that has played with the JRs and the Ike Simmons and CJ Smiths. So I feel like even him and Matt, I feel like didn't get the credit that they pretty much deserve in the past seasons of what they did production wise. But I'm glad they were able to go into the all season with that on their mind, put together the work to be able to have the resume that they have. Guys like that just showed up, man. And definitely 7, man. Javonte Hughes, like he really showed up all year and really showed that he belongs and that he's one of the best players in our state. And there's no doubt about that.
No question about it. I think he just finished like a tackle away from what Ike had this year, and he had a heck of a year. One more before we go to break here, and then we'll finish up on what's ahead for the Maury football program and get Coach McCain's final thoughts here. J.C. Rogers wanted to know on the X. Again, apologies I can't get your comment on the screen. How different was it preparing for Highland Springs compared to Stonebridge? I think you talked more about the scheme and personnel. How different was that for you? It's an interesting question. I'm curious what you think on that because they're both great, and you've been used to playing one and the other almost every year during this run here. I know people get caught up in the 7-5-7. For years at first it was Lake Taylor in the district. Are they going to beat them or who's going to beat who? Then in the regional areas, can a Warwick or Kings Fork or a Green Run or Indian River take down Maury? Really, when it gets to December, we know it's going to be the Commodores taking on the Springers or the Bulldogs at some point.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty much been that. It's two different teams, they bring two different situations, scenarios. You're talking about, the team, the Stonebridge team. I mean, they have I want to say maybe like 6 Division I cats on their defense alone. We're not even talking about on their team. They have like 6 Division I cats. So They bring a different scheme. They have a different offense. They have a different defense than what Highland Springs plays. So when it comes to that, it was different. The two coaches are different. There's not really history there between our team and our staff with Stonebridge's new staff because I think last year was his first year. And I don't know if those guys didn't make it that far. I don't know if they made the playoffs. However that played out, we just
lost in the region semis to Riverbend. But correct, they were a much different team this year than last year, and of course under Mickey Thompson, no doubt. Yeah.
Yes. So it was just a different situation. Highland Springs, familiar with the staff. There's familiar history. They know what we're gonna do. We know what they're gonna do. And it's almost like with us Highland Springs, it's almost like we might as well be in the same district because it always just seems to kind of play on like they're like I said, they're gonna know us well, we're gonna know them well. Just two different teams, two different staffs, two different situations and moments. I mean, we had to go on the road to Stonebridge, who has obviously the more grasp of the crowd and the situation atmosphere. You talk about Springs, who we're at a neutral site. We're in the state championship game. It has its own different vibe and feel to the game. So just two different situations, but neither team, we could have slept on or went in half-stepping because either we're going to end up in a game or obviously we know us coaches-wise knows what it feels like for it to not go our way when it matters. These players for this program really don't know a lot of that, how that feels that way in those moments in games. But us as a staff, we know what that feeling is like, and we know what can happen. So two different situations, but two different teams, two good teams, two well-coached teams. We just had to come be better that day.
Well, speaking of Highland Springs, Maury goes for something that the Springers were the first to accomplish in Class 5 of 4. We'll get Coach McCain's thoughts on that when we come back. Also some changes. Players that graduate, coaches have personnel changes, and get your final couple of questions, too. You're watching 757 Sports Talk and On the Hash with Hatfield right here on Cova Sports TV. Now a quick word from those who help make it possible. Stay tuned.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, And that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Kova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit kovapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game.
Plays that.
3rd and 7. Everett looking down the sidelines. Got a man running wide open. Caught at the 25. That's Williams again. Touchdown, Commodores.
I think Matt Williams is having a party here in the state championship game. You see he's going on the go route, and he's got his man roasted, toasted. Touchdown, Maury cruising. Not even 6 minutes gone by. 64 yards to Painter.
Bust.
It never gets old, does it, Coach? Whether it's the first, second, or third time for those players, and for you, your fourth as a championship head coach of the Maury Commodores, your alma mater. It is 757 Sports Talk and Kova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe, and interact with us. If you got a question or comment, you want to shout something out to Coach Dyrri McCain, you can do so through the IG, the Facebook, the Twitter, the X, YouTube as well on Kova Sports TV. Well, Coach, you get ready for a four-peat, and actually one of our questions on the IG, I forgot who was it that asked it. We had him on recently on 757 Sports Talk. Your defensive coordinator has moved on to be the head coach of the Bookers of Booker T. Washington, former Lake Taylor All-Tidewater linebacker Mike Privet. You knew at some point that this might be a possibility for him to be a head coach one day, so now you'll lock horns with him in the Eastern District in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, I mean, it was again, if we're going to be one of the standard programs in Virginia, just like with anything, man, you look at it in college football, you look at it anywhere else. I mean, when there's success happening in a program, there should be phone calls coming out to people, whether it be head coach, coordinators, whatever the case, whatever it is. And that's been my job as a head coach, to make sure that that I'm helping guys prosper, those guys who have aspirations of being coordinators one day, that are position coaches, or coordinators that want to be head coaches. That's part of my job. I mean, it's more than just the kid development. It's trying to make sure that everything around here is being developed, man. Other teams in our school, whatever team in our school, just trying to, make sure that everybody's taking the steps to develop. I want everybody around me to be successful at whatever it is that they want to do. And my job is to just pour into as much as that I need to help them do that. And it's no surprise at all. I mean, the resume says that he should have that opportunity. So, it's no surprise, and it's an opportunity that he's deserved with his resume. And I mean, it's what's supposed to happen. I mean, that's what you're supposed to be doing if you really want to care and really want to help people. You should be setting them up to do that. And like I said, just way more than deserving the opportunity.
I know you're both looking forward to competing against each other, given how much you competed against each other in practice with the back and forth banter and junk talk, if you will. But I'm also interested to find out, because you knew this was a possibility for years, and I'm curious, how often do you get asked about, well, how much longer do you want to stay at Maury as opposed to taking an opportunity at the college level? Certainly one has to come your way that's attractive or fits your needs, desires, wants, if you will. You do have the new little one at home and things that are certainly changing in your life constantly. But how often do you get thrown at your way, especially after a three-peat and a fourth championship? Because I'm sure this is something that got thrown to Mike Smith at Hampton High, Jeremy Blunt at Phoebus after his four-peat. Hank Sawyer probably got asked this, and certainly Chris Beatty got asked this and eventually took an opportunity for the college level when he was at Lansdowne earlier in this century. How about for you? Does it get thrown to you often?
I think a lot of people bring that up a lot. I hear that when, if it's trying to bring another coach on the staff, or, a kid per se that is here and wants to make sure, or maybe it's a kid that's coming as a freshman or whatever the case may be. I feel like it gets put on a lot. And I do think some people probably use it as a tactic to scare people away from coming here because they think this or think that. I've always been here. It's always been what it's been. I haven't. I'm at Maury. This same conversation gets brought up every single year, even after the second championship. We get to a third one, I'm still like I'm here, and it's just a conversation that's brought up a lot. And I'm at Maury. That's where my feet are, and that's what I'm taking advantage of. And I just believe in that. When I was at Norview, it was the same thing about taking a head job. I mean, when I'm at Norview, I'm there, and that's just what it is. So I'm here at Maury. I don't. People want to create these conversations, and it's just the thing that always comes about. I get it. I 100%. I get why those conversations are being brought up, and what people either think that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. I don't know what their mental makeup is for an opportunity like that. I don't know, but it's a conversation that other people bring up and talk about. I mean, there's stuff talked about from that to we weren't going to be the same team as last year, or Atori left, Kendamo, Ike got injured. Can we? So it just that's what comes with the success in the program, is that you're always going to get stuff that's going to come about, stuff that's going to be about whatever, and just being able to move and focus on the program. I've made moves in situations for this program. I haven't slowed down in what our process is going to be next year. I'm already working on that. So, I mean, everything says that I'm trying to do it again. And all I got to really do at this point is, when I meet with the team in January, when we get back, is to just see what they're on, what they want out of this year. And that'll help me further plan out how we want to attack this year. So it's really going to be based on the guys and what they want this season. So, yeah.
And certainly there are some holes to fill when you lose an Ike Simmons and the guys at the receiver position like the Javon Wigginses and Elijah Moss Williamses and Damon McDaniel Jr.'s. But you bring back your quarterback, who's going to be a junior. You bring back your running back, who's going to be a senior. One of your top receivers in Matt Williams, an offensive lineman, a couple of them that I think were all state, and the guy that led you in interceptions in Tawan Pear. So there's certainly the cupboard far from bare there at Maury, and you go for a four-peat. So to you, is the challenge greater, four-peat compared to three-peat, three-peat compared to back-to-back? You got the first one out of the way in 2019, and there's this expectation of you don't want to have that slippage and stay elite. But what keeps driving you to strive for that greatness and achieve what you're doing right now at Maury?
Just never getting comfortable. Again, like I said, I brought up, and that's where, whether it's either players elsewhere, coaches elsewhere, whatever the dynamic of what the program is, comfortability is not an option in this program. It's just not. And if you want to be comfortable, it's just going to be uncomfortable for you. And that doesn't necessarily mean in a bad way. It's just the standard says we're going to move this way to be able to compete and stay at this level. It's just not going to be handed out. Like, I'm not, it's great having Damo Everett back. They're great having Tayshaun Branch and Matt Williams and Quan and Jaden Hodge. It's good to have all those guys back. It's good to have Paul Hudson, Bryce Parker, Bam, Blunt, the other Bam, Wayne Davis. It's good to have all those guys. But we can't live in comfortability saying, okay, we got this back, so, let's just relax. I'm not that guy that's going to allow players and coaches to relax. If we say that we're on this mission where we do meet as players and as a staff, I have to uphold whatever mission that we say that we're on to try to do whatever it is that we need to do for this team. So, I'm the same guy that when we won the first one, I'm the same guy now at 4. And I'm just not that guy that's cool with, we got 1 and that's cool. And we got 2. If whatever the kids are going to want out of the season, I have to do my best job of providing that. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here. So, like I said, once we meet in January, whatever they say that they want out the season, if it's just a regional championship, then okay. At least I know what I'm working with. But, I know these guys' mindset. I know what they're going to be on. And, I'm not living off of, I hear that, that we've won 4 state titles and 3 in a row. All of that is cool. But how do we maximize this team right here? That's all I'm really going to care about. Everything else, I think if I'm being honest, I think I'll look at that stuff later on when I'm done. Like when I'm done coaching overall, maybe I might look back on that stuff and say, dang, we really accomplished this. We really accomplished that. But right now, if I do that, that's how we come up short, or that's how kids don't get the same opportunities of how we started this thing. So that's what the program is. That's what it's always been. That's how it's going to stay moving. And for those guys who got comfortable, it just wasn't the right situation for them.
No doubt. And lastly, to finish up here with you, we thank you so much for the time. I'll squeeze in, I think, a couple more comments I have for you, too, on the program here with Dyrri McCain, head football coach of the 4-time state champion Maury Commodores, 3 in a row in Class 5 as they beat Highland Springs to win the championship in December at JMU after winning the title in a shutout a year ago over Briar Woods. As you look at the big landscape, I mean, people ask this to you every year, too. I mean, your schedule is a meat grinder every year, whether you're playing – Wise or McNamara. You got to go to McNamara this year. You'll host Verina, right? And then you will host Cardinal Gibbons. I believe that's how it is for the 3. And you scrimmaged in the past. I know Phoebus has been a team you scrimmaged in the past. People want to know, and you'll see it's state champion in your schedule. And Lake Taylor from the district who brings back a lot back. People want to know about Oscar Smith. The Commodores ever play Oscar Smith? And what's on the horizon for your schedule, I guess, beyond this cycle or scrimmages? Are you a guy that embraces any of those challenges coming up? And what's in front of this team? What do you put out there besides them trying to make history and getting a 4-peat because they won it, yet this team didn't go undefeated like the other ones did?
Yeah, and I guess to that first point of like not going undefeated, I mean that's got its cool part to the story too. Only because there was true adversity that they had to go through to get it. I mean, when you have an unblemished, I mean, you go through stuff, but do you really? I mean, do you really learn about yourself after every win? I think this team had to learn itself and learn about themselves to be able to set this up. So, it's one of my special and probably my favorite one this year, to be honest with you. And it wasn't even an undefeated season, only because of what we had to overcome. And everything else, man, for the program. Like, I mean, our schedules have always said that we've been trying to, take next steps and do things that we feel like is going to be best for us moving forward. Trying to get these guys some different experiences on games, being able to travel, being able to see different things, trying to get different things set up, man. We got a college type program where it comes with a bunch of stuff, man. Study hall meetings, practice, blah blah blah, weight room. And just kind of adding factors of being able to travel, knowing what it's like to get on a bus, or even, hey, maybe a plane here soon. Some way, somehow of trying to create every single type of atmosphere that a lot of these guys will see next level before they get there, so they know what sitting together in a hotel room and eating a pregame meal is like, or breakfast is like. Putting your stuff on the bus, getting your stuff off the bus after a travel trip, going on a plane with each other, getting off of a plane, just stuff that's going to make sense for the program to be able to give these kids every avenue. Again, we're a public school, so, we're not private. We don't, we're doing what we're doing football wise, but we don't come from much. We do a great job of fundraising. We do a good job of kind of doing those things, but just trying to give different avenues for these guys to see different things, to experience different things, different situations, just to try to give these guys every opportunity to see something that they're going to see or come across when they do get to next level. And a lot of these guys will have an opportunity to play next level. And some of these guys will get a lot of life lessons from what we've done in the program.
That's one of our questions too. Roger wants to know on the IG, will you consider playing someone out of state? I guess he's talking about, like he said, California, Texas, etc. So I'm guessing he's talking about what now your schedule's set, but I'll throw this to you in a different way though. This made me think about this, and I've been a big proponent of this. I like to see, and this is no disrespect or knock to those teams in your district or any district, whether it be the Eastern, the Beach, the Southeastern Peninsula, Bay Rivers across the board, allowing flexibility for teams that don't want to play a Maury if they're a team that's, only winning a couple of games a year, to drop them from the schedule, go play someone that's, at their level to help them try to make the playoffs. Would you be in favor if they came to you and said you can drop a district team, no penalty, and go get one of those out-of-state games to allow you to have a fourth out-of-district game? I know it's a lot. Some districts like the Beach and Bay Rivers have none, and I think that's a disservice to them and hurts them for the postseason to prepare for teams from other districts, other regions. What's your take on that? Would you consider something like that and be open to it?
Yeah, I'm open to all that stuff. Again, obviously it's not my decision to make. Sure. But no, I wouldn't be opposed to it. If they came to me and told me that I had that option, I'm not going to tell them no, we wouldn't do it. So I'm up for it. If it ever became an option, and we already have to do that with 3 of our games anyway. So, but I do agree with that. There can be some changes that go on with scheduling and putting this team with that team and helping some other teams out with just being able to put them in competitive games and stuff like that. I'm in agreement to that. So, it wouldn't be a thing that I'd be opposed to, honestly.
DZ383622, got a bunch of numbers. I can't read them all. It's too many. Wants to know on the X, do you win a 40-yard dash with your coaches? Oh, he's definitely going to say yes. That's an easy question.
Yeah, easily.
Not even close, right? Who's in second? Who finishes second to you in a 40-yard dash?
Second right now, I probably would say maybe Wayne Davis.
Wayne Davis, I was thinking too, yeah. Who wins the 40-yard dash though on your team right now? I'm sure you do the races. Who's the fastest guy at the moment?
Ooh, on the team?
Yeah.
Are we
either
including
the fast team or coming back?
Coaches, or we just talk about players?
Oh, are you going to throw yourself in there with the players? Do you win the race?
They know.
I don't know about maybe about 5, 6, 8 years ago. Maybe pre-Papa days and you get a little older, coach. I don't know. Maybe when you started at 19, I might give it to you. I don't know about now. And by the way, when you first started, not 19, that would have been 9 years ago. That team, your first team was the only one that didn't make the playoffs and win in the postseason. So every other team's want to reach a championship.
Yep. I probably would say, that's a hard one, man. It would be, it's like 4 of them that come to mind right now. It's between Vonnie Wiggins, Matt Williams, Isaiah Simmons, Eli Moss. Okay. Those would probably be my guys that I probably would put in a race to handle that. I probably would say that.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm impressed the linebackers in that race with the speedsters, if you will.
Listen, man, to be honest, I don't know if there's a lot of things that Ike Simmons can't do. So sure. That's how much I believe in that kid.
Well, it should be a fun quest for a four-peat as Maury will get started back up in January. We want to thank you again for all your time today. Happy holidays to you and your family as you get ready for the 2026 new year. Congratulations. A heck of a job. 41 straight wins in Virginia. Now that streak's going to be expected to get to I guess that's now going to be something like 54 if you can run the table with that, because you do have 2 out-of-state games with McNamara and with Cardinal Gibbons. So all the best to you and your family. We'll do this again sometime down the road. Catch you then.
Thanks, Matt.
That's Dyrri McCain, head football coach of the Maury Commodores. You've been watching On the Hash with Hatfield right here on 757 Sports Talk as well, and Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and always subscribe. See you later.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there, because here you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Taylor with the rebound all the way down the court to the north, and he hits the layup.
And there is Julius Irving. Look at that move behind the back. Oh!
The Doctor, the Iceman, the champions and Hall of Famers of the future. The nexus of today's brand of pro ball got started in the most unlikely of places.
We did bring the playground into pro ball, and the playground's never going to leave.
It was great for me because it gave me a chance to open up and, play that run and that gun style of basketball.
The NBA was putting out their press releases that this is a Bush League, that this is a clown league. When you got on a team, boy, hey, wait a minute, these guys can play, and these guys can play good basketball, and not only that, it's fun.
This is the story of one small market team with the kind of talent few teams have ever possessed. When these players got together, they shook up the world of basketball.
I think it just tells the truth. We're really watching the evolution of basketball in the first person, and we were really happy and proud to be a part of that.
What we're seeing is what this little team did down here. This big team up here is doing the same thing.
Well, you see a big part of history. If you're a basketball historian.
Not only for the fans, but I think for the NBA player today, to know the roots that the game came from, to know those that made the game that they're playing today, that they have a chance to go on and try and improve it. I think that's really important. I think this film can give them that perspective.
It's the inception of the way the NBA is playing now.
It's a film about brotherhood. This is the guy depended on, he depended on me, and that's a bond that can't ever be broken.
The Dream Makers, a revolution in basketball.
It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and the one and only Coach Ed Young, every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Cova Sports TV. From high school football and basketball to the NFL, MLB, college sports, and the NBA, if it's making headlines, they are breaking it down. Bold takes, big-time guests, and a few laughs, especially at the expense of that basketball coach, Ed Young. Catch it on Cox TV and your view, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Cova Sports TV.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield.
And we welcome you back to 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV. And we say good morning to all of you. The coach, Ed Young, should hopefully be here in just a little bit as he's wrapping up his practice this particular morning. You heard from Dyrri McCain earlier of the 3-time in a row State Champion Maury Commodores, 4 championships in total in Class 5. The big news, though, coming in high school football just in the last day of Jeremy Blunt stepping down at the helm of the Phantoms. We were scheduled to have Coach Blunt on this morning, but he's a bit under the weather, so we're going to reschedule that interview. He's reached out to us to do that, so we hope he is going to recover well from what he's dealing with right now. So we should hopefully have him on our program, perhaps on the television portion of the show that folks can check out. If you haven't been watching, we're on TV on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays in Hampton Roads and Fredericksburg, Northern Virginia, and Roanoke through the great folks at Year Review and Cox Communications. Shows available on Monday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern, Tuesdays at 12 noon Eastern, and Wednesdays at 4 o'clock Eastern. So we're going to try to effort getting Coach Blunt on for that, for people to check it out on the telly. He's unable to come on this particular morning. But Coach Blunt, what a run he's had for well over a decade at Phoebus, all the state championships, 4 in a row. He won from 2021 to 2024, 7 regional championships. And you think of Phoebus, it's almost like, I was telling this to someone just yesterday, it's a little bit like the Pittsburgh Steelers in professional football, where all they've had were the likes of Chuck Noll and Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin for more than a quarter of a century, half a century, really. And Phoebus for getting close to about, half a century. The late, great Bill D., who was a Hall of Fame coach. Certainly Stan Sexton took over after him in 2009. They won 3 in a row. And then during the 2012 season, it was Jeremy Blunt who played for Coach D, won a state championship in 2001, and has been on that staff, taken over as the head coach, and has certainly kept Phoebus in the limelight, and in many ways elevated them the last few years to where they're one of the very best in all of Virginia high school football. So we're going to get him on the program some point. Our man Bill Walcott chiming in. Mike London would love to have him at William & Mary. I think he would. And, rumors have been circulating for the last year plus of where he's going to land if he does go to college. Schools like HU and like William & Mary have been talked about, but it does feel like that's the next logical step for Coach Blunt after doing all that he's done in his alma mater. And even this year, going 8-4, it was viewed as a down year, but after losing by a lopsided margin, a running clock score in the regular season to the Hampton Crabbers, their nemesis, their arch rival, the top seed in Region 4A, to then beat them coming from behind in the region semis before falling to Lafayette in a doozy of a game. It took a punt return to propel Lafayette at home at Warner Stadium on Thanksgiving weekend to the state playoffs in Class 4. You could argue it was one of his finest hours because that Phoebus team didn't seem like it was one. They had to escape Churchland by the hair on their chins. And I've gotten, by the way, people asking me, who's the next coach at Phoebus? Folks, I have no idea. This just happened, and I don't even think Phoebus knows who it is. So all this rumor and conjecture and speculation, and I'll throw out names that have been mentioned to me or texted to me or asked me with question marks from various people. I've had multiple people text me and ask me question marks. What about this guy? We brought up one in our article, in fact. The only guy on his current staff that's been a head coach currently on his staff, to my knowledge, is Sekou Wilson, unless I'm forgetting somebody. Sekou was a head coach at Granby. He's been dialing up some plays and one of the offensive gurus, if you will, for Phoebus during its run. Coached at Granby for several years. That's a name that's been rumored about. I've had names like even Denny Dodson, who coached at Woodside for many years and actually stopped the streak that Phoebus had. Now an assistant for Andy Lynn, rumored about. Again, I have no idea if Denny Dodson wants to be a head coach once again, that is, he's been one before, or at Phoebus. I've heard the name Tracy Parker, who was a defensive coordinator and assistant for many years at Phoebus, was a head coach in the Peninsula District at Bethel, currently the head coach at Smithfield. He could be perfectly happy at Smithfield. I have no earthly idea. That name's been rumored to me. Glenwood Faraby's name has been rumored to me. He just got to Tallwood last year. Have no inkling he wants to leave Tallwood, he could be perfectly happy there. But he's coached at the college level, been at Hampton, been at Virginia Tech. He coached in Charlotte, Vance High School, or Julius Chambers High School, to state titles, and he turned around Indian River's program. A lot of names have been mentioned to me. So we'll see what Principal David Coakley and Athletic Director Paul Macklin decide to do. They could go outside the area, outside the 757, outside the Coach Blunt coaching tree for their next coach. But you can always chime in with us on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe, and interact with us, and let us know your thoughts on what you think Phoebus may do, could do, should do, and ultimately will do. It's all up for you to decide. So there's another good name, Bill Walcott. Starting rumors. There we go, Bill. We started Kempsville, Darrell Cherry. Again, no idea if he wants to, relocate to the peninsula. I know Coach Cherry and his wife, who's in administration, I think, at Bayside. They've got family that they like probably Virginia Beach. They could be perfectly happy. I have no idea. But as far as qualified, yes, he turned Kempsville, which was a downtrodden program. It's got a lot of prestige and tradition going back to the Ralph Gahagan days in the 1980s. I would know, having walked the halls there, as Ed likes to joke, or as he likes to say, my favorite class was lunch there at Kempsville High. But certainly he has the credentials to be in the conversation or discussed as a worthy candidate. So you can go a lot of different directions. We'll see. Phoebus is in a little bit of a transition because it's people know it, the elephant in the room, that some other players, a few players in the Peninsula District, in fact, have decided to enroll at St. James Academy in Springfield. Will the quarterback in Maricus Banks, who's currently committed to Old Dominion, be back? Time will tell. Who knows? I don't know that Phoebus is going to be a favorite to win Class 4, but the one thing we pointed out in our article on Virginia Preps is they've had 25 consecutive seasons of advancing in the playoffs. That's remarkable. In terms of a model of consistency and excellence and dominance, there's a lot of programs, certainly right now in the present, your state champions like your Oscar Smith in Class 6, your Maury in Class 5, your Lake Taylor in Class 3 from the Hampton Roads area are at the top of that conversation. But as far as the longevity and sustained excellence, the two programs that really have separated in the last 25, 26 years have been Oscar Smith and Phoebus. They've got the most championships from the area code in that stretch. And, I don't think Phoebus is going to, even if they do have some slippage, it's not going to be slipping to where they're 3-7, 2-8. Slippage might mean a little bit like this year. You fall in the region semifinals, or you just fall short of getting to the state playoffs or getting to the state championship game. But even if you fall short of that, in 2026, you could be right back up on your feet and competing for it in 2027, 2028. So a lot happens here. It's almost like the transfer portal that's now open season in college athletics. All these quarterbacks being rumored about in college football. Who's Virginia Tech getting? Who's UVA getting? Who's Penn State? Who's Michigan? Who's Ohio State? All these rumored with the transfer portal. It's too much sometimes. So we shall see. Before we take our time out, there was a big Peninsula District basketball game, which we told you about on last week's show and on our Cova Sports TV television program. And that was in Newport News with the Woodside Wolverines, who recently won back-to-back state championships in 2023 and 2024 in Class 5 under Stephon Welsh. Fell just short of getting to a third consecutive state championship last year when they lost to Green Run High School, the eventual Class 5 champ, over at Ocean Lakes in the state semis. Took on the Hampton Crabbers. They played host to Hampton, which won themselves a state championship a couple of seasons ago. Fell last year in the state quarters to Verona. So two teams that are number 4 right now in the current rankings on Virginia Preps. Hampton in Class 4, Woodside in Class 5. And we caught up with a couple of Crabbers, Abraham Taft and Joshua Rice. They won it in OT. It took more than 32 minutes of regulation to decide a victor. And here's what those two young men told us after the game in Newport News, right here on Cova Sports TV.
Okay, here with a couple of Hampton Crabbers seniors. We got Joshua Rice on the left, number 11, and on the right, Abraham Taft, as they combine for 33 points and a bundle of rebounds, key steals, and assists. They win in overtime over Woodside, 56-54. Josh, tell me about this game against Woodside. We know about them being the kings of the PD, and you guys have had a couple of battles. I know you were in Texas last year back with the Crabbers. How did it feel to get this win tonight, an extra session on the road in their place?
This game felt really personal. I mean, I played here on varsity as a freshman with these guys, and we lost twice, so it was big for us to come here and win, especially in our last away game.
Abe, we've seen this team play a lot better here the last several games since the season opening loss to Denby. What's triggered the turnaround for you guys? The holiday tournament against Bethel, you had a nasty jam. You guys won big tonight. You had some struggles early, but you got it going. What's been different about this team here the last few weeks?
Offensively, like we just been like getting better in practice, moving the ball around. And then when it comes game time, we got the chemistry to just play with each other.
Mm-hmm. You won a state championship your sophomore year. Yes, you and Gavin Kay, along with that team that had Malik Johnson and others. You and Gavin coming off the football field. How much has it taken some time to get your legs here, if you will? I know you play basketball in the summertime too, though.
Yeah, for me, it didn't really like take that long. It just like I'm still working on my shot and stuff like that, but it didn't take that long to get back into the play.
What makes this guy to your right so effective on the court? He gives you another dimension on your team, doesn't he?
Yeah, the way he commands the team, pushes the ball, he can handle it, shoot it. He's just a all-around player.
And for you, Josh, you and the guards like Cam Jennerette and Fullwood off the bench, guys, what's a luxury to have this guy going to the hoop, slashing and jamming it, and also Gavin Kay, a big 6'8" enforcer on the inside? How much does it help you all as backcourt players, players?
It helps us a lot offensively as a whole. We try to instill that we play bigger because we're tougher and we go at it in practice. So just having that confidence every day makes it easy.
Sure. For both of you guys, let's chat for a second about college. I know you're getting some looks for basketball and football, basketball. What are you looking for in the school next level? Any interest in some schools, and what are the things that matter to you as you get ready beyond the senior year? How about you for you first, Abe? What are you looking at? Are you looking at football more for basketball than basketball, or not sure
I'm
yet?
looking at both,
Okay.
but I got an offer already from Elizabeth City, and I got a lot of interest from other colleges and stuff like that.
Awesome. Josh, I know you have a 3.9 GPA in the classroom, so academics is really important to you. What's it looking like for you next level, and what are you looking for?
Next level, really looking for high academics. That's the biggest thing. And then just going somewhere where I can come in and make an impact immediately, especially since I'm a young freshman.
Mm-hmm. Take me through the huddle, what Coach Brown was telling you guys down the stretch. You guys lost an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. How did you keep your heads in the overtime and not flinch?
We've been through it before, a lot of tough battles in practice in the first game, like you said. We really just hunkered down as a team and just trusted each other, and we said we had it.
What's going to be the key, babe, for you guys to get back to the Siegel Center? You were there your 10th grade year. I know you want to get there here as a senior, and Class 4 is very competitive, but it's a big win for you guys to build off of tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. To get back there, we just need to be like a defensively team, and just keep playing together. No selfishness, no none of that.
Be honest with you guys. There's a lot of chatter about the big matchup with Woodside Denby on Tuesday. That didn't get you extra motivated for this one? Like, hey, we're coming to play too and try to beat these two teams as well?
We did. I feel like tonight was definitely a message to them that just because we lost the first one, we're still that same team that everybody thought we were.
All right, and lastly, fun one here. Who had the better dunk? Yours tonight or yours against Massachusetts?
I got to give it to him. That was way better.
That was better? Okay.
I feel like mine was impactful because of the atmosphere, but he had a way better dunk.
All right, good deal. We'll watch these two guys make a play for the Crabbers. Joshua Rice, Abraham Taft. Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
So you heard from a couple of Crabbers there, Josh Rice, Abraham Taft. They beat Woodside 56-54 in overtime. It is Cova Sports TV and 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe, and interact with us all morning long. We'll be signing off at around 10:45 a.m. Eastern, so because I have to zip on over to Chartway Arena for my ODU women's basketball game today as the ladies play a host to Georgia State's Panthers before the ODU men play a host to Georgia Southern's Eagles. ODU women were able to beat Georgia Southern in double overtime 2 days ago, so double dip of ODU basketball. If you want to check it out today over at Chartway Arena, come on out. Bring the whole family if you like. And there's also some holiday basketball showcases happening around the 757. You got one over at Norview High School today, as it's on our screen there. The VA Hoop Fest gets started up at 12:15 with Atlantic Shores taking on Kempsville. Western Branch faces Maury in a Southeastern District Chesapeake versus Eastern District Norfolk matchup to follow that at 1:45. Nansman River, Ed Young's old school, now coached by Joe Hassell. The Warriors in our top 10 in Class 5 on Virginia Preps taking on the Granby Comets. Got a lot of talent on that team, led by Antonio Williams and Deshaun Spellman. And those two could certainly see each other in the Region 5B playoffs. That's a good one at 3:15. Kellum, Norman Hassel's Knights. You heard from Coach Hassel recently here on 757 Sports Talk after they were able to beat Maury in the Woodside Way showcase before Christmas break. Taking on undefeated Lake Taylor, Derek Yogi Edwards' Titans have ascended to number 1 in our Virginia Preps Class 3 top 10. Catholic playing Oscar Smith in a private versus public showdown. Bobby Steinberg's Knights against LeVar Griffin's Tigers. In the nightcap, the host school Norview, led by Keon Fats Mitchell, who was on our television program in 757 Sports Talk last weekend, playing host to the Princess Anne Cavaliers, also in our Class 5 top 10 on Virginia Preps. 9-1 on the season for Greg Montgomery's team. Cavaliers going to be a team to watch out for, led by Isaiah Goodson, Namarcus Bird, and a lot of talent. And speaking of Princess Anne, I also got to give a shout out to the PA girls. Darnell Dozier's team recently won the John Wall Holiday Invitational Tournament, beat Bullis out of Maryland out there in Raleigh, North Carolina, the Wonderland Bracket Championship. Second straight year they've done that. Giselle James had 18 points. We know how great Micah Ojo is with 17 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, one of the best in the entire country. And Tristan Rickenbacher, who's also very good and could be a lot of teams' number one option, she had 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals for Coach Dozier as he gets ready to probably get another ring, running out of fingers and toes. Although Menchville girls mighty, mighty good. It could be a showdown come March at the Siegel Center with the brackets crossing now. They just beat the Hampton girls pretty handily. We also have another showcase going on today in Newport News before I bring in my partner, Coach Ed Young, who I now see is done with basketball practice. And that is in honor of BBQ Hicks, who passed away. The BBQ Basketball Showcase, Norcom Peninsula Catholic at 1:30 today at Heritage High School in Newport News, followed by Phoebus Indian River, Hampton and Salem, the Crabbers, who you just saw, and you'll hear from Coach Eric Brown in a bit, taking on the Sun Devils, led by Lloyd DeLoach, and the host school, the Heritage Hurricanes, taking on the Henrico Warriors out of Richmond. We know about their great tradition going back to the days of Vance Harmon leading them to state championships with DeMonte Buckingham and Ryan Pearson and Walter Williams and Timmy Jones, Marvin Smith, Jordan Talley and that crew. Now Vance Harmon, the AD at Douglas Freeman. So a couple of basketball events today over at Heritage High School. Tickets $15 there for the BBQ Showcase, and the one over at Norview High School, the VA Hoop Fest. I'm not sure of the ticket price, but I know my partner in crime will be getting in for free because, as he likes to say, if it's free, it's me. And he's here with us free of charge as well. Good morning, sir. How was practice? Did you scream a lot or did you keep it really mellow?
It was probably a lot of screaming because we weren't focused at all today. So it wasn't good. It wasn't like I'd like it to be. So we had to do some refocusing and whatever. So that's why I'm a little bit late. Plus, I had a little bit of trouble logging on for some reason today. Wouldn't let me, kept buffering, let me get in here. But I'm in here now, and you're right. If it's free, it's me. Some good basketball action. I think I'm gonna make that trip over to Norview today. Watch some of those games. See what it looks like out there in the area.
Okay, so you might get to sign some autographs or participate in a half-court shot if they do it, right? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I won't do all that now. I mean, I just want to watch the game.
Okay. We apologize. We're not going to have Jeremy Blunt. He texted me this morning. He's been under the weather, so we're going to try to reschedule that for either tomorrow or the next day or sometime very soon so people can hear from him, and we'll get your thoughts on that now. Ed, I sort of talked about it earlier. Already rumors are floating around. Who's going to be the next guy at Phoebus? Nobody knows because the job just got open literally yesterday. But your thoughts, as it feels like college is the next logical destination for a guy who accomplished a whole heck of a lot at his alma mater, and Phoebus, one of those flagship programs in Virginia high school football.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't hear any rumblings about it. And, sometimes in the coaching business, you get to a point where it's time for a change. And it's different reasons why. And I think, without talking to Jeremy, he's done a lot there. State championships, district championship, whatever. Well-known, playing a national schedule sometimes, national teams on their schedule. Maybe he feels it's time for a change. The key thing here is he didn't mention the word retire. So he's not leaving, I don't think, the field. It's just look at some other potential options. Does that mean he has something in the works? Does that mean he hopes to get involved with something? We don't know. Only Jeremy would know that in terms of what he wants to do. And, I wish him all the best. I mean, what he did at Phoebus is continue that tradition that Billy D did over there, and Stan Sexton, and Jeremy was next. Now, whoever comes in next, and speculation will be run rampant. Who's going to look at it? Do they elevate an assistant because the program has done well? Do they want an assistant that's had head coaching experience? And I think you mentioned in your article, which was a great article, they have one coach that has head coaching experience who's on their staff. Do they want to go outside of the staff, maybe in the area, or do they want to go outside of the area, somewhere in the state or outside of the state? There's a lot of different ways Dave Coakley, the principal at Phoebus, can look at that and go. Me personally, I always like the idea that if the program is doing well, elevate the assistant, and in this case, one of the assistants, because they have many in football. give him a shot because the program has been doing well. But sometimes, too, when you've been doing as well as they have, you want to continue it with somebody who has proven head coaching experience and has won, similar to what Michigan hired Kyle Whittingham from Utah. They wanted a veteran coach who has been winning, used to winning in the national spotlight. And that's why they hired Whittingham at Michigan. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure a lot of people will go after it, while a lot of people will want it, and they'll have no shortage of candidates.
Agreed. There will not be a shortage of candidates whatsoever when it comes to that vacancy. We're going to take a timeout here in a second. We'll do our NFL picks coming up before we sign off on this particular episode. You'll hear from Eric Brown of the Hampton Crabbers, but I also want to get you a chance to take a look at Marcus Hagen's Ed. He's been hired at Michigan as an assistant coach, former Crabber, 757 guy who's been well-traveled, days at UVA, Penn State come to mind as he's taken an assistant coaching job, and the coaching carousel never stops spinning, whether it's college football, college basketball, high school football, or basketball. It's always spinning. And this is a time of year where a lot of these assistants are moving to different spots in college football, even though we're down to the Final Four in the playoff, which I know you're stunned by because you thought Alabama had a chance against Indiana. No, they didn't. Hoosiers said, Hoosiers. And it's the Oregon quack Ducks taking them on for an all Big Ten semifinal. While it's not Georgia or Ohio State, you said last week on the show, oh, yeah, I'm buying that. One of them is going to win the national championship. Neither one's in the semifinal. Says it's the Hurricanes. The U, baby. Miami. The U taking on Ole Miss minus Lane Kiffin. Isn't there a small part of you that's rooting for Ole Miss just to say, take that, Lane Kiffin. Take that.
It probably is. The college playoffs really got me. I mean, I was one of the ones that said Alabama didn't belong in. I didn't really have a problem with Miami getting in, but if Alabama was going to let in, then I would say get Miami out because, I wanted my Notre Dame Hoosiers in there. And then when the field was selected at 12, I said, I think Ohio State, Georgia play for, if the seeding goes right, will play for the championship. But I think they were both on the same side of the bracket. And now it doesn't matter. Neither one is left. Indiana really served notice for those who didn't notice how good they really are when they pummeled Alabama in all phases of the game. And I would think now that it seems like in the country, everybody's an Indiana believer. And I think most people are pulling for Indiana or think Indiana's going to win it. I know I am. I've jumped on the bandwagon for the Hoosiers to win it. And probably go against Miami. I think Miami has really shown their grit in this. And I know I had a fellow a couple of days ago when he got on me about, hey, weren't you one of the ones saying that Alabama shouldn't be in, Miami shouldn't be in, and they were in? This is before Alabama lost Indiana. And I said, yes, but that doesn't mean if they get in, they can't win. I never said that. I mean, they can get in and win the whole national title, but I'm still going to say Alabama didn't belong in the tournament. But they're out now, so it doesn't matter. And Miami's still going. Mississippi's interested because of the Lane Kiffin situation. He left that team with a chance to go for a national title, and he went to LSU to win a national title. But you're leaving a team that's right there for a potential national title. But obviously we know why he left. It was money. It's the biggest thing that ruins everything is money. It's ruined college sports. And it's just the way it is. So he's out. I think a lot of people maybe would like to see Mississippi win because of Lane Kiffin leaving that team in the dust. I don't think they will. I think it's going to be Indiana-Miami with Indiana winning it.
We go. Can you hear me now? All right, it was muted for a second. I know Ed's got the little secret remote there to mute me. I'm a little disappointed by that. He's not showing it. He's got it underneath the table there. But no, our man Be Kind, I6T says LeBron 30 wins with Maury and 14 wins with Indiana. How about the Hoosiers though with Kurt Signetti? All these guys from VA and 757. Kalon Black out of Salem High and Virginia Beach had a touchdown run in the bowl in the recent Rose Bowl win over Alabama. Aiden Fisher from Riverbend and Stephen Daly from Winchester, Hanley High School, the Kent State transfer. I mean, they're just stock. Tyreek Tucker from Norfolk on the defensive line. He's gotten players that were mostly FCS JMU targets at Indiana. I mean, this guy's a wizard. We heard a couple weeks ago with David Glenn on the show. He is the smartest guy in the room. You may not like him. You may hate it with all the fibers in your body, but what he's done there is a story for the ages. It really is. Even if they don't win this thing now, the fact that they're the favorite in the Final Four, and it's not basketball with Bob Knight, the general, with the red sweater, it speaks volumes beyond volumes.
And no question, what Signetti's done is captured everybody's attention, and you hit it right. He brought those guys from JMU. He did recruited the portal extremely well, and their chemistry really hit top notch, because that's the problem of going to the portal, bringing all these players from all different places. You don't know what the chemistry is going to be when you bring them in there, and they seem to enjoy playing for Signetti. They each other, and they're really, really playing well in all three facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams. It's what they're doing is really unique, and it's what everybody wants to do, but they're doing it. Now I'm not saying, they're going to roll over Oregon. I didn't think they would roll Alabama. Oregon's pretty good too, and if they can use their speed, they're a tough out. But I just think right now,
their defense, by the way, shutting out Texas Tech entirely. Their defensive line control. We're seeing a difference in these quarterfinals. We're not semifinals. The quarterfinal games is physicality. It feels like the physical football teams win. Miami was more physical than Ohio State. What else happened? Oregon physically manhandled Texas Tech in the trenches and made life miserable. Texas Tech's defense couldn't get their hands on those ducks, those slippery, grease pig ducks. Couldn't get their hands on them. And then the physicality of Indiana took a toll on Alabama. I mean, that game was actually scoreless early. Then they scored 17 before the half, and that was all she wrote. The Ole Miss Georgia game was the one where it wasn't so much physicality. It was a couple of missed chances for Georgia. They got a scoop and score from a 7.57 guy in Dalen Everett from Norview High School in Norfolk before he went to IMG to continue his career. And at 21-12, you felt the Bulldogs were off and running, but credit Trinidad Chambliss, who was not even a Division I QB. We make so much of Fernando Mendoza, the Cal transfer and a Heisman Trophy winner. This guy comes in, and the offense is just going up and down the field on Georgia's defense. Where was the UGA defense? Kirby Smart. He's supposed to be so smart, but the last 2 years he's failed to get to the semis.
Yep, and the Georgia fans will start having some rumblings about that, because they expect it to be like an Ohio State situation. We expect to play for the national title every year, but they don't. And you talk about being physical. Miami's line, both offense and defense, extremely physical. So that's why I think they have a great shot against Mississippi. In fact, I'd look for them to beat Mississippi in this situation. So here you got Miami, who for a while there we were thinking shouldn't be in there at all. I want my Notre Dame Hoosiers in there. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And
why do you keep calling Notre Dame the Hoosiers or the Fighting Irish? Stop calling them the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I just changed that. I just said that because I'm thinking of both. That Notre Dame should be in there. Miami shouldn't. And that possibility now, Miami might not only play for a national title, but maybe win one. That would be wild.
That would be wild. One last thing as we do finally go to break here. So what do you enjoy the most? It's a multiple choice. A, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and them going down in the toaster and coming out like a Pop-Tart to eat. B, the Snoop Dogg Bowl, where we got Snoop Dogg on the sideline going to catch the kickoff in the end zone. C, the Mayonnaise Bowl, where they dump mayo on the coach for Wake Forest after they beat Mississippi State in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Or D, our man Derek getting to go to Hawaii for the Hawaii Bowl to see Santa Claus.
Ho, 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 you bugger! Wow! Meli Kalikimaka! 757 Sports Talk! Wow! Wow! Wow!
Easy one, right? It's got to be D.
I would go with Derek, but I'm jealous. So I'm going to go with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, you picked Snoop Dogg.
I'm going to go with Snoop. That's my guy, Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
You're anti-mayo, you're anti-Pop-Tarts, aren't you?
I can't imagine having mayo dumped on you. Pop-Tarts ain't bad. They're fattening, but Pop-Tarts ain't bad. That was a choice of breakfast food when I was little.
So let me ask you real quick. If you're coaching the Pop-Tarts Bowl, would you have done, I think it was BYU in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, would you have taken whatever comes out of the little oven? And by the way, that thing is so fake. If you watch the video, I'm not even going to play the video. It's so fake. Would you have taken a bite of the Pop-Tart?
No, if I haven't seen it was in a package or whatever, I don't know who got their hands on it, whatever. No.
All right. You're one of those people. Okay.
I'm one of those people. I'm not eating your potato salad. No way.
Well, I didn't say potato salad. I said Pop-Tart.
But that's a saying, which means you're not eating other people's food if you don't know who they really are.
Okay. Thanks for educating me. We've got more coming your way. Eric Brown of the Crabbers and our NFL picks. Ed has got to study up quickly, swiftly, immediately, because, as you'll see on the screen right here and right now, he can't catch me or Bruce. But what he can do is he can be the blockade because he gets to go first for outpointing me last week, to where Brucey will have a shot to go 3-0 and I go 0-for. That's what Ed's rooting for this week and this week alone, then to have his triumphant finish in the postseason and then brag about it for the next 6-7 months until football comes back. You're watching with us on 757 Sports Talk. Where are they watching, Ed?
We're here on Cova Sports TV.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Cova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 Meal Deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
All right, here with Hampton Crabbers head basketball coach Eric Byrne. His team wins at 56-54 over Woodside on the road here in Newport News. In overtime, coach, it takes more than 32 minutes with you and the Wolverines here. We figured this would be a battle down to the wire. You had an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. It slips away, but your group recovered, showed their poise, their experience, their mettle, if you will. Good to win it this way, even though you would have preferred to do it in 32 minutes?
Any win is good, especially against a quality team like Woodside, and to come in here and win, which they haven't lost in here, and probably Smithfield might be the last team beat them here maybe 3 years ago. Any win against these guys is you can't take it for granted.
Looked like early on you had a chance to get a big lead on them, and Woodside was kind of hanging in there. I think Trent Smalling was making some plays for them, number 13.
Yeah, he made some big plays in the first half. He had a great first half for him, and we knew he could shoot it. We knew he could shoot it, but he made some plays off the dribble that we didn't expect, and he helped them. Get pace until, their guy Deuce got going in the second half.
What was the big adjustment for you guys at the break? Because it felt like you were on the verge of having a run, and you got that in the third quarter going, especially with Josh Rice's attack moves. Was it just a matter of solving the zone, being patient, making good decisions with the rock? Or
They made us play slower than we wanted to play. You've seen us play. We've been playing at a high pace this year, super high pace, probably the highest pace we've ever played under me. We've been playing at a super pace. And, he did a great job of playing the matchup zone. They slowed us down a little bit. With our guards, I don't worry about people pressing us. These guys are seniors. I'm not, we're not really concerned with guys pressing. Actually, we kind of want people to press us so we can go score. He did a great job of pressuring us, but them being disciplined enough to make us run our stuff. And then we missed a ton of layups in the first half. I think we missed 8 in the first half. We missed looks that we've been making. But I think the adjustment was when we went to the 13. I thought that was, that was a riddle that they spent a long time trying to figure out.
Yeah. And certainly you have a couple of guys that can make some big plays on the stretch. We saw it with Josh Rice. We saw it with Abraham Taft. But in the middle, Gavin Kay, despite the 4 fouls, to step up like he did to hit the key free throw, but also that basket when you're down 1 in the overtime. How important was it to just go inside and kind of establish your will down there, if you will?
Oh, yeah. We got to get Gavin's our advantage.
Yeah.
The difference this year is we have the guards that can really shoot it around him. He's still working his way into shape. He's still working his timing out. But, we got to stick with him. He's our guy. We know what he's capable of, what he's been doing and what he's done for this program. So we're going to keep going down in there to him. And he responded in the end. He made his free throws. He made one free throw to tie.
Sure.
That got us to the extra period. But we're going to always, go inside to Gavin and make sure he's a force for us inside.
2 more let you run. Appreciate the time. I mentioned it to your guys there at the end, Josh and Abe, and speaking with them, that a lot of hype about a big game coming up on Tuesday with Woodside and Denby and Newport News. But I think you guys feel like, hey, we want to be the kings of this district. We know we lost that first game to Denby, but how much does that matter on your quest, if you will, to kind of block out the noise and stay focused on the mission of getting better game by game and getting to the Siegel Center yourself?
Yeah, we focus on ourselves. We don't really – I've always prided – that comes from Coach Brown. We focus on ourselves, and when we lose a game, it's usually what we didn't do. I always look at it what we didn't do. Very rarely do we lose because of we played well and we lost. That's a Newport News thing. I stay out of Newport News business. We worry about Hampton business, Hampton High business.
Sure.
And, the whole district for us is our business. Nothing's never in this district over the years. You got to deal with Hampton High School. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Coach Woodside's been, they've been running the land for the last, 2 years. But, we've been in here battling with them, and, me and Steph love to do it. He winked at me a couple times. I winked at him. We knew it was kind of going to be like that. And, it was.
And final one, how would you characterize this win tonight? Would it be a gritty win? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I thought we showed our grit. I thought we really showed our grit because they got in a point where they were really feeling good. And I thought, like you said, that moment with Josh really locked in, and Abe and Gavin got those tough buckets down the end because we couldn't get, our guy off the bench, we couldn't get Joe going. He struggled a little bit. His first huge game like this as a freshman. This is his first game. So he learned a lot. He's got many more that he's to worry about. But I really thought we showed our grit, and I thought our seniors took us home. And that's what it's supposed to be. We got a senior-led team who has a lot of experience. Guys have championship experience. And, I thought we showed a ton of grit, a ton of heart at the end. I thought so, especially defensively.
No doubt about it. They grinded out. Thank you so much. Congrats on winning. Happy New Year.
All right, appreciate it.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back here on 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe and interact with us. Before we bid adieu on this particular, I can't even say condensed episode because you heard the entire portion of our conversation with Dyrri McCain for folks that missed it as we turn the calendar from 2025 to 2026. High school basketball now in full swing. Ed's got a big week on deck he'll chat about for 3 games this week. Tell us about that. But before he does all that, your reaction to what Coach Eric Brown told us. We also played the clip with Abraham Taft and Josh Rice of the Crabbers. Those two were on point all night long, Ed, combining for 33 points. What'd you see from the game? What'd you hear from Coach Brown?
Well, I heard nothing from Coach Brown because, unfortunately, being on the phone here instead of computer, I can't get the interviews for some reason. So
you're the only one. You're the only one in America that cannot get that. It's unbelievable.
And it's good as long as everybody else got it. I was at the game.
Hold on. You were talking. You were watching me interview him last night at the gymnasium, so you know what he said, and you also watched the game. And shout out to Dan Malloy out there. We love Dan. Go ahead.
I didn't listen to you. I was talking with somebody else while you were interviewing him.
That's you.
Yeah, I was talking with one of the assistants. So I would imagine he talked about trying to get the game a little bit more up tempo. I think he had the probably better athletes on the floor and the bigger team on the floor that with big kids that can move. And until they did that, they were kind of stuck in the mud going against Woodside. Woodside played really gritty defense on Hampton for the most of the game. My guy Deuce, wasn't hit for a while there, and I think that hurt Woodside early. Then he got loose a couple bombs late in the game. But when the point guard for Hampton, is it Rivers? Number 11, last name Rivers?
No, Josh Rice.
Right. Yeah, when he got going, he had a couple really good plays, including a breakaway dunk on a fast break, which got the crowd going because the young fellow's only about 6 foot tall, but he got up. And
you're short of 2 inches. He's about 6'2", but that's okay.
That's what they call coach's measurement. He ain't 6'2".
Oh,
no. I'm 6 foot. He shook my hand. I looked him right in the eyes, so I know he's not 6'2".
Dang.
Yeah, he's not 6'2", but he's a pretty good one. From what I understand, he's got great academics too. So people need to be on him. But they did what they had to do. They extended out into overtime. Good game, two really good teams. And I said, Hampton had a little bit of a slow start getting their football kids back, who are very, very much key for them in this game and in the season. And in this game, they actually got it going. So I would look for Hampton to really start flying. And they got another game today. They're in one of the showcases that you showed playing Salem over at Heritage High School stuff. But I think Hampton will be there in the end, and I think they're legit state contenders for 4A without question.
Well, one final note before we get to the NFL picks. Hopefully Ed Young this week, beginning with his first game of 3 at York on Monday, does not pull a Micah Shrewsbury. Do you know what I mean by a Micah Shrewsbury?
Was he really shrewd?
No, Micah Shrewsbury, the head coach at Notre Dame, formerly of Penn State, was enraged at an official after Cal down 3 with 5 seconds to go, got a 4-point play, 3-pointer, and the foul. Referees wave it off, and then they huddle up again and say it counts. And Shrewsbury was enraged while Mark Madsen was doing all of his weird dancing like he was back with the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe, winning a championship as Cal, which, by the way, has DeJuan DJ Campbell from the 757 in Kecoughtan High School, who went against you during his freshman year in the regionals over at Green Mountain High School when you were coaching Nansemond River, on the roster. So see how we bring everything back to the 757? We tie it all back to the 757 here on 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Yes.
It was good. I saw on the highlights from last night, a college that I used to coach at, Quinnipiac University in Connecticut, was at Manhattan. Did you see that? What happened there?
Both coaches got ejected.
After going after each other.
Crazy.
Coaches got to calm down. It's just a game. You gotta represent your kids better than what these guys are doing. Take a page out of my book. Be calm.
Yeah.
They're just kids. Okay. They're
just kids. Thank you.
They're going to take bad shots when they shouldn't. They're going to not cover anybody on defense when they should be. Yes. They're going to throw the ball to their parents in the crowd because it's
Yes.
So understand these things, and you can last longer in the sidelines like I have.
Ed Young never yells at his kids, even when he's on the road at Franklin, squandering a double-digit lead, then recovering it, trying to hold on for dear life, and a kid makes an open jumper with a few minutes to go as he attempts to delay the game and run clock, and then he screams so loud the entire gym cackles for yelling at the kid who made the open jumper. He shot it because he was open. So,
yeah, I asked him, I said, JC, why you shoot that? He said, Coach, I'm open. I said, you're shooting 33%. That's why you're open. He said, but Coach, I made that one. That's kids. That's kids' mentality.
You were so loud, I heard you back in Virginia Beach. And I'm telling you, that's the truth. On the NFHS camera, I could hear you. You were that loud.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he took the shot. I like to think our kids would be smarter than that. But then again, they're kids. So
they're kids. Don't yell.
I'll get a full flavor this week. We got 3 coming up this week. We go to York on Monday and Wednesday home against Jamestown, and Friday another trip to Gloucester. So hopefully our youngsters will be able to put it together, and maybe we get 3, hopefully 2, at least 1. We don't get any, it will not be good.
No, it will not be good. And by the way, the jacket was not even on for that game, Derek. He usually, when it does come off, though, look out, duck, take cover, hide the women and children, especially the women and children.
Yeah, I didn't wear suit on our last game at Franklin. Went a little different. We had coaching, our polo shirts on, coaches. So we went with the shirts. So who knows? Whenever the mood hits me and I have a suit, I may put one on this week.
All right. Let's fire up the dance pop because it's time now for some NFL picks in the league where they do play for pay. All right, here's the standings. I don't love last week's results, which saw Edward go 2-1, while Bruce and I each went 1-2. That got him a game closer. He's actually 3 back of Bruce. So I was joking, if you swept and Bruce went winless, you could actually tie Bruce for second. But you can't win.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I told you my picks, I'm just too pessimistic about my picks. Been a bad year.
Been a bad year. Well, that's because you've been a bad boy. You've been a bad boy.
I'm firing my cracked staff because they're all cracked up.
They're all cracked up? Is that what they are?
You're supposed to give me insight on these games, give me the injury reports, who's tanking, who's cheating, all that kind of stuff, and I'm not getting it like you are. So I'm going to have to get rid of them.
Well, just to quickly recap, Bruce lost on Carolina plus 7.5. Seattle won 27-10. And he lost on the Colts plus 5.5. Jacksonville won by 6. So he lost by half a point, which is always the toughest way to lose, as we well know. That never fun when you lose like that. He did win on Saints minus 2.5, a 34-26 victor coming from behind last week. Ed was 2-1. He won on Jags minus 5.5, going head up with Bruce. Cincinnati minus 7, won easily over my Cardinals, 37-14. You all can't see it out there, and I won't discuss you, but I got Cardinal socks for Christmas. I got coal in my stocking from Santa, but I got Cardinal socks, and I'm wearing my Cardinal socks today. You won with the Jags and the Bengals, but you lost with the under 41.5 with Giants Raiders. The Giants won 34-10. Oh, your Raiders kept you from a perfect week. Wouldn't you know it? Meanwhile, for me, I won with the Niners 42-38. That was a scare against the Bears. But the Falcons beating the Rams minus 8.5, choking dogs, and the Texans 20-16, 2 early touchdown bombs from C.J. Stroud as Houston held off the Chargers minus 1.5, which was the pick there. So all that adds up to this, Ed. Here are Bruce's picks. Week 18 for Bruce Pearl. Here they are on the screen. Take a look at him. He's going the Saints to go marching in and beat the Falcons. The Cowboys against the G-Men and the Niners in a Saturday matchup with Seattle. You get to go first because you beat me out. So what do you have to get us started?
Well, I like his pick of New Orleans and Dallas for sure. I can't go without it. So, I'm going to go. I got to think of what is Hatfield going to pick. Got to go against Hatfield.
See, you want to ruin me. I knew this was your whole game plan today and strategy was to ruin me. I have right now, though, on my sheet 4, 5, 6 games written down. So I feel pretty good about avoiding a meltdown and trying to stay above 500.
Give me Rams minus 7.5 over Cardinals.
I knew that's where you were going to go. I just knew it. I knew you would do that. It's actually 8.5 now, sir.
I wanted it 7.5.
Well, you're not getting it at 7.5. You're getting 8.5. This is Christmas doesn't come again in January, so you got your Christmas presents early. All right, now for me, you're in last place anyway. What does it matter? My first 2 selections. I got to be honest with you. This game I've circled all week. I'm surprised Bruce didn't take it. Give me the Bears and Ben Johnson laying 3 against Detroit. For my man Dino out there, a Bears fan. They're coming off the loss, but remember, Detroit hammered them in week 2, absolutely pummeled them, Ed. And I think because of that, they remember it deep down due to the Chicago Bears who want to get that number 2 seed over the Philadelphia Eagles. They want revenge for that 52-21 loss in Detroit. Ben Johnson does too. Give me Chicago, lay into 3 for pick number 1. As for pick number 2 here on my second selection, I'm liking the NFC North a lot. I'm looking at that Minnesota-Green Bay game really, really, really hard. It is up to 8.5 at home, though. Just don't love the quarterback situation, whether it's going to be J.J. McCarthy now, not Brosmer. But that's what scares me off just a pinch here. The Chiefs against your Raiders, very intriguing and attractive too. But last week they burned me. I think they'll play a lot better this week. Look, the Colts are a dead team. I know it's a hook now of 10.5, but give me Houston laying at 10.5. That defense is going to absolutely crunch, munch, and have Ronnie Leonard for lunch. I think they will maybe knock him out, and Phillip Rivers gets one more last bite at the apple before his NFL career is finally done. Texans laying 10.5 at home. They win by 2 touchdowns. The hook scares me at 10.5, but I'll take the gamble. Bears, Texans surging into the playoffs. 2 teams that have been red hot down the stretch. You're now up, Edward, for your second and third, your final selections for the regular season.
I shouldn't do this because I'm going against my 2 favorite teams. Give me Ravens 3.5 over Steelers.
Wow, you do something to watch there for the Sunday night football game. That's a biggie for the AFC North crown and the 4th seed in the AFC.
And I want Pittsburgh to win.
Okay.
And I'm going to go, because I know the Raiders are trying to get the number 1 pick. I'm going to go Chiefs minus 5.5 over my Raiders.
Yeah, you're going to do that with the 3rd string quarterback on the road. That tells you how bad the Raiders are. It really does. Sums it up.
I don't see the Raiders trying to win that game for the most part. I don't see it.
Don't see it. You don't see it. You don't see it. They actually have future odds for some of these games if they're to happen in the NFL playoffs. But I'm looking at a couple others here that are possibilities. New England interests me as they're still alive for that 1 seed. But you know what? Just to make things interesting, Ed, I'm going to put a checker on a checker with Bruce. You know what that means?
You're not taking his pick, but you're going to go against his pick.
There you go. I'm going Oppo. Melinda McCain out there, big Giants fan. If she's watching, Dyrri's mom. I'm going to go with your G-Men. Jackson Dart wants to finish on a high note. Give me the G-Men plus the 3.5 at home against the Pokes. This can be the one that knocks Bruce out or gives Bruce a chance to beat me in the end. So to recap, Bruce's picks, he's going Cowboys, he's going Saints, and he's going Niners. Ed's going Chiefs, Ravens, and the Rams. I'm going Bears, Texans, and Giants. And that will wrap up this episode of 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Our pal Marty O'Brien saying, good pick, Ed. It will be all Ravens. Quote the Ravens and nevermore.
I think so. I hope the Steelers win it, but I think Baltimore's going to win it.
So that's going to do it. We thank our guests. And for all of you tuning in and interacting with us, we will do it again. And again, you can always watch us on the tube, on the telly, if you will, on Cox and Your-View, Cova Sports TV. They're the channels for you. 60 in Hampton Road, 74 in Nova, 77 in Fredericksburg, and 9 in Roanoke. For the coach, Ed Young, I'm Matt Hatfield. Have a great week, Ed, and we'll see you over there at Norview later today.
Yeah, I'm going to go see some basketball action, and we'll see what happens there.
All right. Have a good one. Take it easy.